Yeah.
Is that us?
Is that us?
That's you.
Defoe's on vacation, by the way. Anybody know that? Defoe's on vacation.
Sports Radio 560 WQAM Miami Fort Lauderdale presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 560-7560 toll-free in Miami-Dade and Broward, or pound 560 on your cell phone.
We're all in rehab. We're all behind bars somewhere locked up.
Anyone else on the show do not necessarily reflect those of WQAM, Beasley Reed Acquisitions, or the Beasley Broadcast Group. Now, Neil Rogers on Sports Radio 560 QAM.
Neil Rogers, God.
Lawrence Geller is a pizza. Jorge Simpson is a pizza. Charlie Manson is a pizza. Yes, who else is a piece of Trent Martin, a piece of a piece of Trent Martin, a piece of but fucking Nazi asshole, that's what Trent Martin, Irma Gary was a piece of Joseph Goebbels was a piece of Jorge was a piece of yes, who else is a piece of a piece of a piece of a piece of a redneck commie asshole that's what Martin played on Victor was a piece of Joe McCarthy was a piece of Jeffrey Dahmer was a piece of yes, you want it, a piece of everybody, a piece of everybody, a piece of everybody, a piece of a sanctimonious for the asshole, they're all big pieces.
By the way, speaking of that, what an interesting way to start the show this morning, because guess who was down here for a little while? Greg Reed was down here for a few minutes, and it made me think of that bit, which rhymes with something in it. Now the overhead is like real funky and kind of low. I don't know. Why did you potchkey around with it? Just because it was blasting the speakers off the wall? We got serious problems. But that's okay because we're used to that. It goes on every day here. But anyway, I discovered this morning in about 10 or 15 minutes of Greg Reed being in here going pop, 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 like that, I discovered that there's like the real world and then there's the world according to Greg Reed. Seriously, our general manager, he's got like his own view and vision of how everything is. And I was expressing to him that it was very frustrating to all of us here the couple of weeks that we went through with the Super Bowl and the bums rush in that studio upstairs. And he got very defensive and said there was no bums rush. It was the engineer's fault. The engineers promised him that was supposed to be done, yada, 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 and be and this and that and the other. And about, we got 2 sports wires, and he's actually working on going out and getting a direct DSS upstairs. Why weren't they getting the DSS upstairs while they were finishing the studio? So that when the guys went in there, they had CNN, SI, and ESPN, whatever else they need to be watching up there. So maybe they might have had the Tony Martin story yesterday. And by the way, thanks to the caller, 1 or 2 we had yesterday who called in on this show and gave us the story about Tony Martin being busted. And, of course, we know that he's innocent because he's got not only Roy Black, but it looks like Johnny Cochran's going to get involved in this because certainly the race card needs to be played again, don't you think?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So you always can feel that somebody must be innocent when they need Roy Black and Johnny Cochran to come in, which I can't, I'm not going to make any judgment one way or the other, but it looks a little bizarre, don't it? Look a little bit bizarre?
Uh-huh.
Maybe you just got a bad circle of friends, Tony. But nevertheless, we didn't have the newswire that gave us that information or gave the rest of the people the information, and if it wouldn't have been for the caller calling in here yesterday, we wouldn't have known about it until God only knows when. But see, there's this thing, the world according to Greg Reed. I never realized it to this degree before in my life, is that you do things, and in your own mind, if you're of his bent, of his mental bent, you rationalize that what you're doing is right, and that everybody, is it a form of paranoia, perhaps?
No.
What is it? Like kind of like a mental disease?
Yes.
I mean, where you believe that everybody else in the world is wrong, all the people working around you, working with you, they're all wrong, and that you're doing it, it's paranoia. It definitely is. It was an engineer's plot, it must have been, to make him look bad, and to get Hank bent out of shape, and to get me psychotic and frustrated, and to have us have the deal here on Friday with the equipment that didn't work the first hour. That was beautiful. Wow. That was a lovely hour last Friday. But we don't want to dwell on that, do we?
Uh-huh.
I don't want to dwell on Greg Reed's The World According to Greg. That would make an interesting show. By the way, Phil the Bugman is God. He's a great guy. I want to thank him profusely. Even though he's not going to be alive very long, boy, did he get fat. You know something? Everybody is getting fatter and fatter and fatter. Everybody I see is getting fatter. Phil the Bugman, who lost all that weight on the Atkins and just ballooned. I mean, man, he gained it back so fast, like in a meal. You know what I'm saying? How can you lose like 30 or 40 pounds and gain it back in a meal? But he sure did. Boy, he ballooned back up. But anyway, they did a great job of pressure cleaning my wooden fence in my house yesterday. 8 years it's been gathering mildew and mold and crap. And you just sit there and you say to yourself, I guess I'm going to have to replace it when I sell a house. Huh? I never realized you could pressure clean that crap off a wooden fence. But you can. And the difference is just staggering. Thank you, Phil the Bugman. You're the best. And try to stay alive, okay, pal? Try to stay the hell alive. Like when Boog Shambi came in here a couple of weeks ago. Remember that? It was almost, I kept hearing those sounds again. Yeah, it was like Josh Friedman almost came waddling in there. He's just gotten to be one chubby guy. Enormous. And like the last time we saw Defoe, and in fact, Defoe is not on vacation, and he's also not at rehab. He's at the fat farm is where Defoe is. That'll be a good story for us to spread, because that one might be believable. He's also ballooned up. I've known Defoe for years. He was never fat. He was always kind of like a wiry, right? Always the same forever. And now all of a sudden, maybe because he's working over here, he's porked up like a monster, man. That young guy from Power, I don't even know what his name is, that was in there. Remember you gave him my keys that day or whatever when I had the car washed from Power 96? I don't know if he works there, but he had the T-shirt on, that blonde, whatever he is. Yeah, you do. That huge fat kid.
From Power?
He had a Power 96 T-shirt on. I don't know who he is, but at any rate, he was fat. I'm just saying, everybody you see in here is fat, basically.
It's a fat place.
Now look at our friend Murray from Wayne Arnold's Rest in Peace. He was real. He's dead. Your good friend that was young and fat. He's dead. It's going around, man. We're killing ourselves. Which reminds me, at 1:30 today, I'm going to be leaving early. George can do a half hour today because I'm going back to the Cleveland Clinic again to see Dr. Paskudniak. Probably because I'm fat. That's right. That's probably what this is. I went there last week. I changed my medication, and I'm feeling great. Even Friday. One day. Remember, I came in Friday, felt better. This rash is going away very slowly, but it's going away. Sunday, I'm at home. I felt the best I felt in years. Then last night at the hockey game, the game may have had something to do with it. All of a sudden, I start getting these feelings like in my, like I know that this other stuff isn't completely gone, but they're saying, well, it takes 7 to 30 days to get the Adelaide out of your system, yada, yada, yada. But now I'm feeling stuff I didn't even have before. Some of the stuff is coming back, plus I got like pains in the neck. You know what I'm talking about? You're following the kind of pain I'm talking about, like sore gland. Not swollen so much, but like sore to the touch. Well, stop touching it. Well, I don't want to stop touching it because, seriously, how do you know it hurts if you don't touch it? Right? And like other things, how do you know it feels good if you don't touch it? And it's the same thing with pain. How do you know that it's bothering you if you don't touch it and keep touching it and touching it some more? Because that's your way of determining how bad it hurts. So I'm touching it, and the neck too. So I'm going back again, and maybe I'll just go to a different doctor every day. Maybe I'll just do that the rest of my life, which kills some time from eating anyway. Come to find out, by the way, that Broward County, it wasn't good enough that they tried to close down the cruise ships, the casino, the floating casinos. That wasn't good enough for them. What are they spending all their time on now? Closing down the swing clubs. That's right. What was the one you were telling me about before? The name of the swingers club. George is on the phone. He's not paying any attention. What was the one that Joe and you were telling me about before? He's like still not paying any attention. Okay, so it's 8 minutes after 10. We'll talk about it as soon as he gets off the phone with whoever that important person is on the phone.
America loves to watch boobs and butts and boinking.
Tonight on A&E, Biography salutes Black History Month.
Hello, I'm Jack Perkins. Join me for a look at the legacy of African Americans who contributed to the black culture of today. Nantan Moreland, Moms Mabley, Slappy White, Eddie Anderson, Roscoe Lee Brown, Chelsea Brown, Rodney Allen Rigby, Eugene Robinson, Tim Moore, Blowfly, Shirley Hemphill, Yafet Kodo, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, Melba Moore, Melba Tote, LaWanda Page, Sambo, Jackie Mofucker, Farina, Buckwheat, Stephen Paget, Urkel, Ernestine Wade, Godfrey Cambridge, Whitman Mayo, Butterfly McQueen, Johnny Brown, Pigmate Markham, Willie Tyler, Dan Lester.
Call this month on A&E.
And what about Henry Lyons? Do he not be on that list?
No.
Almost $5 million passed through a secret bank account opened by National Baptist Convention USA President Henry Lyons. An investigator testified Monday in Lyons' racketeering trial in Largo. You know about that. Another good preacher, baby. Another good dark-complected preacher in this case, which every dark-complected male in America should be either a preacher or a basketball player, I guess. But nevertheless, just swindled all kinds of millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that's just the way it goes, I guess. That's just the American effing way. So anyway, what was the swing club that they closed down, the latest one that you and Joe were telling me about?
Trapeze.
Trapeze. Because remember, a couple of weeks ago we had a fax from somebody, and for some reason they kept that story very, very quiet. Maybe they were too embarrassed. Maybe the swing police were too embarrassed over the fact that that story actually took place, and they don't want the public to realize that this is how your tax dollars are being spent. Not only raiding cruise ships with dubious reasons for seizing all of their slot machines and gambling materials, and then shot-faced having to bring them all back again because the judge says you're way out of line, totally done incorrectly. And maybe they were like 3 miles out, maybe it was 2.8, maybe it was 3.1, we really don't know, because the little whirly bird thing we got at Kmart at Radio Shack wasn't too accurate. This is what goes on. It's another cottage industry in America. You know, Dave Zeplowitz, you know, a Cigar Dave, who's a real clown.
He's an asshole.
He's a real piece of work. Just ask our friends down in Nick. They'll tell you all about him. They'll say...
He's an asshole.
But nevertheless, he had one term that he always used. In fact, now that they're trying to crack down not only on cigarette smokers, but on cigar smokers too, I guess that term fits in real nicely with what he does, with what he's trying to peddle. The pleasure police. That's a term he uses. Man, nothing could be more appropriate than the term the pleasure police than this country, and especially this town, and maybe especially Broward County. What is that all about? I guess they know that the overwhelming majority of people who vote in Broward are over the age of 100.
Oi!
They're old farts. And so all of their psychological games that they play in law enforcement in Broward are geared toward that mentality. They pander to the old farts. Hey, we're cleaning up all of this perversion and all of this filth. First of all, when you've got a private club, I don't understand, based on what maybe somebody with greater legal expertise than I have can explain to me what legal justification they have going in and busting a private club. No matter what's going on in there, if you're talking about consenting adults, if they had little kids in there, if they were having, sex with kids or something, or if they were dragging people in off the street and raping people, then of course we could understand if you got an IQ larger than your thumbnail.
There were cops that were busted as members of the club.
Really?
Yes.
Cops that were members of the club were busted.
Oh my God.
How do you like that? So at least they're not singling them out for special dispensation, at least not yet. See, when is this country ever going to grow up? I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's like this whole thing with Monica-gate, with Penis-gate. You know, during these last couple of days, every time I turn it on for a couple of minutes, which you can't avoid it, and I turn it off as fast as I can, but when the stuff comes on the screen, and like the other day when Charles Ruff was using the clips, and they're showing Bubba again testifying in front of the grand jury, and I'm outraged. Whether you like Clinton or not, I'm outraged that here is the President of the United States, and he's sitting there in front of a grand jury being asked questions about sexual peccadillos. I'm sorry, folks, but rational, intelligent, adult people who have a maturity level greater than kindergarten, don't do these things. They don't bring somebody in like it's a grand inquisition and start asking all kinds of, did you do this, and did you touch there, and was the cigar in her vagina, and what brand was it, and was it moist, was it dry, did you diddle it against her rectum, et cetera, and so on. And basically, I mean, even though he said I'm not going to answer any of those questions, they wanted to know. Inquiring minds, inquiring perverts like Ken Starr, they wanted to know. And when you scrape away all the veneer of this, all the indignation, even on the part of the supporters, you do understand. There isn't one single Democrat, there's not one single supporter of this president in Congress or in any elected or appointed office who's got the balls to say, well, he screwed around, they try to cover it up, that goes on all the time, it's nobody's goddamn business. Now let's deal with something important. That might be somebody's business. That's what they should be saying. Oh, well, no, we have to have a censure resolution because we are just outraged. Paul Wellstone, the great liberal senator Paul Wellstone. Oh, well, this is so absolutely outrageous and degrading and despicable and disgusting. Come up with any pejorative term, any negative adjective you can. He's a scumbag, but the bottom line is it didn't rise to the level of, high crimes, which, of course, we know that. Any idiot knows that. What is the problem with these people in this country? Is it the Puritans? Is that what it is? It's still this British crap that hangs over our heads?
That's the American fucking way.
That's right. Consenting adults who want to go into a place and to diddle around. Well, that's their business. They pay whatever they pay to join that club. It's not prostitution, which unfortunately is still illegal in most of this country, which is pathetic, which is why the Eugene Robinsons of the world are out there cruising Biscayne Boulevard, getting on the front page of the newspaper, because for whatever we ain't getting at home, it was looking for something else out there in the street, and of course they have to be out there too. And then I read a letter to the editor, and this is just astonishing. Here we are, 23 years after I came here, okay? In fact, March 1st, it'll be 23 years to the day. Not that anybody cares, but that'll be the day. When I first came here, that was the big deal. They were running all of these big entrapment deals on the boulevard in the same places where they do it now. And all the businessmen, they're putting us out of business and they're destroying the neighborhood. And guess what? It's 23 years later. The area is still a toilet. There still are hookers out there. They're still picking up all kinds of Johns out there, including Eugene Robinson and a lot of other anonymous guys. And it goes on. Because that's the human effing way. Guys want to get laid. Oh, my God, how can you say that? What a disgusting thing to say, even if it's true. So there has to be this veneer. It's kind of like that Greg Reed thing, I guess, if you're in denial all the time. You live on some kind of a different mental plane. Maybe he lives like on an American airline plane, since a lot of them are on strike these days. They're not working too good. On a different level, very far apart from reality. And that's the way the American media works. Everything that's said is done for public consumption. Oh, well, I'm totally outraged and it was indefensible and yada. Well, I'm not outraged. Maybe I'm the only person in America. Maybe I'm so perverted that I'm the only person in America who's not outraged over the fact that the president was getting blowjobs from some bimbo up there who went there specifically for that purpose with her presidential knee pads. And you'll notice all the discussion about her also continues to have to be the same. Continues to have to be how sorry we feel for her, and about, after they interrogated her for the 8 millionth time, the House managers, well, she was very impressive and very articulate, and we were very impressed by her. Yeah, and you know what? She still didn't tell you a goddamn thing. She's a bimbo. I mean, it's not just my opinion. It's right there on the Linda Tripp tapes. It's right there from her own words. She diddled around when she was 17 years old with a married guy, messed up his marriage. She told her friend she was going to Washington with her presidential knee pads. She was wearing provocative garments to try to get the president's attention, and boy, did she ever. Squirt, squirt. There you go. Garments. What an old word that is, huh? Showing your age now, fatso. That's right. She was dressing like a slut. How's that? And it worked. But, we have to say all of these ridiculous, idiotic things, and that's why it's so ponderous. It just wears you down. We have to continue repeating
all of these things
over and over and over again, even though everybody knows in some part of their mind, if they have any brain at all, that it's all a bunch of crap. Nobody really believes that all of these senators and congressmen are that outraged. The problem is he got caught. He got caught because people were looking to nail him with anything they could nail him with, and he got caught with this. And then, like anybody other rational person would, they covered it up. They lied about it. They did everything in their power to prevent from this humiliation and embarrassment. And that's what it's all about. But the busting of swing clubs in Broward is exactly the same as the witch hunts about penis kid. It's all the same thing. It's all part of the same crap. It's like the attitudes about marijuana. In fact, where's that the fax? Did you see this fax? Marijuana and brain cyst cited in Swiss Guard killings. The Swiss Guard, and I do mean Swiss, that killed the husband and wife. Now the deal is that, he was a marijuana smoker and they couldn't rule out that he was a chronic drug user, although they threw that in. And they also disclosed his autopsy revealed a cyst the size of a pigeon's egg in his brain. Now, why would you say the size of a pigeon's egg, first of all, huh? Have you ever seen a pigeon's egg?
No.
No. Do I know the size of a pigeon's egg?
No.
I mean, even in the Vatican. Although I guess they do have. What kind of bird? Aren't those doves that they have flying around there all the time, making peace and dropping their droppings, etc.? But he had a cyst in his brain the size of a pigeon egg. But nevertheless, he smoked marijuana. Therefore, and of course, that isn't coming from this country, but it's the Vatican, which is even more to the right, more repressive than here. Because that's the only way they can peddle their bullcrap. Everything is evil, especially the wicked weed. I mean, these are just things that are not acceptable to rational, sane people. And yet everybody's got a posture. They got to put on this front about
all of these things.
That's right, and say all this bullcrap that they know they don't mean. If I had $1 for every hypocrite in this country, I could retire. I could walk out of here right now and tell Greg Reed to stuff this place in his rectum. And believe you me, I would. I would. Get out of your la-la land and come into the real world, okay? Oh, yeah, we didn't have the bums rush on that. The engineers promised me, and yeah, we are going to get a DSS if I have to go out there and get one myself. So, well, what does that mean? You know, we're sitting here. The only reason for 13 months now we have any contact to the outside world is because, what's the name of the joint that gave us the satellite dish?
Digital World Satellite.
Digital World Satellite gave us a satellite dish, installed it for free, and Jeff Cohen brought us a TV set and a VCR the very first day we came in the studio. Otherwise, we'd still be here talking about it. That's the only contact we got with the outside world. I'm at the hockey game last night. Here's a great story for you. I'm at the hockey game last night. In between periods, a young guy, kind of like, kind of a young, disheveled guy, comes up to me with his wife and says, I'm Bo Beasley. I'm just making up the Bo. I don't know what his first name was. My father is so-and-so Beasley, one of the owners of QAM. And I sat there and I kind of looked at him like, what do I say? You know? Oh, Henry, the sales guy, that jerk Henry from IOD, he was over there last night.
He's the one that smacked Jeff high.
Henry's the one that smacked Jeff high? All right, let's hear it for Henry. Oh! I always liked that Henry, even though he's kind of a goofball. He smacked him on the side of his head, huh? Oh, he was telling me some Jeff High stories there last night. Boy, do we make good hires in this place or what, huh?
No.
Do we know how to find them? And by the way, speaking of making good hires, the Thing didn't show up. And the water Nazi's very upset. See, now I'm to blame for that, too, because I made some comment on the air. So he didn't show up for his first day on the job yesterday. He must have heard me say that we're hiring
all of these things
off the street, and he's one of them. I mean, how could anybody hire that creature? I mean, he makes a presentation that is just so unbelievable, so bizarre, so peculiar. And now the water Nazi is very upset with Neil because, and then upset with the guys. See, everything around here is supposed to be a secret. They can do their little games clandestine. So anyway, this guy comes up to me. He's like Bo Diddley Beasley or whatever his name is. Well, isn't their names are Jim Bob and Bo and stuff like that, you know. They're like old country boys. And I kind of looked at him like, oh, no, well, that's what I thought. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. And he said, oh, well, I've been a fan of yours. It was a very strained conversation. Like, he didn't know what to say to me, and I sure had nothing to say to him. And like, well, I've been a fan of yours for, and I guess you're good for our radio station, which I thought was kind of a bizarre statement. I mean, what does that mean? You know, like, yeah, I guess you're good, even though you think our dad is and the whole family a bunch of cheap bastards. Yes, they are a bunch of cheap pricks. Yes, they are, Bo Diddley. Cheaper than, I've never seen anybody so cheap in my life. They won't spend a dime for anything. And then Greg Reed, like I told you 45 minutes ago, stands here, and I'm trying to explain to him that, the frustration we've all had the last 2 weeks working with this scotch tape and mirrors, trying to, make all these things happen. And, oh, no, and he keeps scratching that hole in his head and shaking his head like, no, they told me this, and bada-beep, bada-boo, and we're going to go right out and get that DSS. Do we believe him?
No.
No. We'll believe it when we see it. Cheap. I mean, how much does it cost for a direct TV, for a DSS dish? With installation, like $200 or less, isn't it? With installation, which they don't have to install it. We get the engineers to do it, even though they might lie about it. We'll get them to do it. Huh? Oh, my God, Greg, you're so cheap, I'm embarrassed. I want to cry from you. That's how cheap you are and how much in denial you are. You're like the American public. You're in total denial of reality. But somewhere in the back of I was going to say in the back of your brain, somewhere in that hole there, that spot that you keep scratching, somewhere there's got to be an understanding, a realization, an admission that you're really just not fooling anybody, okay? We're on to you, okay? Do you understand?
No. Neil
When you kiss the canister, no subpoena too bizarre. Anything he wants to, he can do to you. Drag you in for days on end, grill your mama, wire your friends.
Yes.
$40 million bills to you. When he's through with all of Little Rock, then he'll subpoena Sock and maybe Buddy. He won't stop till he installs Clinton's head upon his wall. When you kiss the canister, you're royally through.
10:33 at 560 WQM. So getting back to last night, we got good news and bad news. The great news is Pavel Bure, like I told you, will be signed. I told you they'd get him locked up for 5 years and an option for a sixth. They got the Russian Rocket. They got him signed up. And that's great news because he is spectacular and he gives the added dimension of actually having some offense on this team. Although we did score 4 goals last night, but nevertheless, it wasn't enough. Because guess what? There are 2 ways to play a hockey game, offense and defense. Did they play any defense last night?
No.
No, the worst. We had a paltry crowd there last night, I would say. I'm wondering what they're putting in here as the attendance, as the official attendance. Let me take a peek first. Let's see. One moment, please. And, of course, if it's in the Herald, you know it must be suspect. Let's see, attendance 17,087. That's tickets sold, including the season ticket holders. I would say we had about 14,000 there last night. And I would say offhand it was probably the worst crowd we've had of the year. Pretty, well, you know, first of all, Bure wasn't playing. And number 2, Grant Fuhr wasn't playing for St. Louis. And St. Louis and most of the Western Conference teams aren't much of a draw anyway here. Because the attendance at all sporting events here is gauged in very large part by who you're playing. Which I've never been able to understand that. I mean, in some cases you can understand, depending on the situation, but most everyday or average games, like on a Monday night, like last night, you know, if you're a fan, you go to the game, right? Like we did? No. They're playing St. Louis, you don't want to go. And it turned out to be a very entertaining and very exciting game, unfortunately, with the Panthers playing no defense. None. Zero. Not bad defense, no defense. In my life, I have never seen a hockey game where there were so many breakaways and 2-on-1s and 3-on-2s, but just solo breakaways. Guys just, Pavel Demitra, the wrong Pavel was in a building last night, by the way. This guy for St. Louis is unbelievable. Him and that frog Pierre Turgeon, over and over again. They're coming in there alone. Terry Yake, an old Leaf reject, he's in there. Just unbelievable. It's like the defense missed the bus over to the arena last night. And again, you listen to people who don't know what they're talking about. Oh, well, you know, Sean Burke let in 1 or 2 pretty greasy goals. I'm going to tell you again, as he's done so many times, like in a Leaf game last week, if it weren't for all the great saves he made in the first 2 periods, they never would have been in the game in the first place. The Panthers were so outplayed by St. Louis in the first 2 periods of that game, it should have been about 8-1 or 8-2. And yes, I did see Peter Worrell score a goal. Peter Worrell scored a goal. Oh! What a shot. Oh! Like he knew what he was doing, a sniper. Oh! And does that make a case for Peter Worrell?
No.
In fact, it's a pretty sad commentary, you know. You got Pavel Bure and Dino are out injured, and the organization is so thin that the 2 guys they bring in to replace them are Peter Worrell, who got into the obligatory fight with Tony Twist, which amounted to nothing, which we knew was going to happen the minute they were both on the ice. Totally contrived. But nevertheless, Peter Worrell and Chris Wells, reaching back into the minors to bring back the rejects again. Chris Wells, who got 1 stupid penalty, and then at the very end of the game, after they pulled the goalie out, we got 2 key face-offs in a row in the St. Louis end, and we got the great Robbie Niedermeyer, who's so good at winning the face-offs. Who does Terry Murray put out there on a face-off? Chris Wells, not once, but twice in a row. Does he win 1 face-off?
No.
No, both times St. Louis get to win the face-off, shoot it out and down the ice. What is Terry Murray thinking about? Does anybody...
No.
This man is a coach?
No.
No. So again, Pavel Bure is signed, and get healthy soon, Pavel, because they need him badly. But, you know something, even with him, without any defense like last night, how the hell is this team going to win any games? That was an exhibition of ineptitude, the likes of which, and I'm going to tell you, this Sissy Spacek kid, number 8, you know, Sissy Spacek, I call him, he is not ready for prime time and never will be. What are they thinking about with this kid? He is, from a defensive standpoint, he is a disaster not waiting to happen. He is a disaster in progress at any given moment. Unmitigated disaster. Sissy Spacek. Not that any of the other defensemen played any better last night, but he at least is consistently bad. So they lost the game, but, you know, they had a 3-1 lead early. Things looked really promising, and then like that. But hey, nobody cares, do they really? When you come out of it, they don't care.
Anybody have a heart or a liver?
No.
New from Purple Plastics, it's the talking inflatable Barney. Just put the batteries in and inflate.
Okay, kids, now go get Mommy and tell her to grab the inflation tube between my legs and blow. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's it, Mommy. Oh, yeah, that's it, Mommy. Oh, well, Bobby, guess we'll have to start all over again.
Talking inflatable Barney, available now.
Let's get the Purple Dinosaur Police on that one, baby.
Oh!
That thing with the swing clubs, that just, it doesn't surprise me because it's been going on in this town, especially in Broward for years, but it's just so depressing because we don't seem to be making any progress. They still are of this one-minded, non-dimensional lifestyle of theirs where everybody, no matter what they want to do, it's evil and wrong and they have to be busted. Pandering to this puritanical crap. If you want to be a Puritan, if you want to be monogamous, if you want to be a eunuch, if you want to be a monk, although those monks yesterday weren't doing too good in Texas, but nevertheless, I mean, that's up to you. But the concept that 260 million people are all going to live according to some Neanderthal mentality ain't going to happen. It just isn't going to happen. That's not the way most people, or a lot of people, want to live. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil God.
Yes, sir.
A couple things. First, are you going up to Toronto to watch them close the building Saturday?
No.
Yeah, well, that's my team, the Hawks, which suck. Anyway, also, did you know that 2020, the day that you were talking about the PC stuff about words, they did 15 minutes on that. The same day. They must have been listening to you.
Probably.
And other than that, I just expressed my opinion on the bull crap in Washington, and I'm out of material.
Okay, thank you so much for what I'm not sure, but thank you for, and that's one other call on the board, and that's it today. Well, I'm not feeling all that great to begin with, so, yeah, we'll just, we got some really good music here. What do you got? Like I said, you can blame George for it, okay? Or you can do like 3 hours today. I really don't care. I want to get over with this crap, whatever it is that I got. In fact, I'm going to stay there at that clinic today until they kick me out. I'm just going to stay there and say, I want a definitive answer. I want a diagnosis. I want every exam that's done. I don't want to walk around feeling like this the rest of my life. And then these generalities, well, you know, it takes 7 to 30 days to get a drug out of your system. That doesn't tell me anything. That tells me absolutely nothing. 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's our final call of the day on a short day. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Yes, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yes, what exactly did they sign Bure for?
What did they sign him for?
Financially.
You mean how much money did they sign him for?
Yes.
The story says $47.5 million for 5 years, and then there's other incentives in it for how many goals they score in the playoffs, et cetera, and so on.
Okay, now if he's going to invest that, if Heising is going to do this money for Bure, do you think you better start doing it for other parts of the team, for such as defense? How about like adding a Chelios?
No.
Who's available?
No.
No? Why not?
No.
Because they're not. Bill Torrey's already crying. He's already all his interviews. We're going to have to re-examine our financial situation now, and I'm not used to doing this. Of course, they're not going to do that. Listen, if they're not even going to fix the goal light so that the people can see when a goal comes on, which I've already accepted the fact they don't care and they're not going to do that, what makes you think they're going to spend any more money?
I got three letters for Heisinger, TQM.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to do something because
Okay, thank you. Okay, there's another one of our great hockey fans. Like I said, they haven't even fixed the goal light so that you can see it. And this baloney, by the way, that they told one of our people, well, you know, if we make it any bigger, it'll block the people sit behind it. Nobody sits behind it. It's in front of stairs on both ends. How could the goal jet sit there if he was sitting in front of people? There are no people sitting behind a goal light in the hockey arena. I never even thought of that when a guy called the other day. I looked at it last night. I'm thinking, what a bogus reason that is. Here we are. It's like 51 games into the season. They still haven't fixed it. And yes, I am talking about it again. Because I'm in a state of disbelief that an operation that entails so many hundreds of millions of dollars between the building of the arena and the payroll and all the people, all the tangential people involved with the organization and all the money people invested in that bogus Panther stock, I just can't believe that they're either that stupid. I mean, the quality of the ice, I give up. I saw Chris Pronger fall on his ass all by himself there last night, and 3 or 4 other guys falling down on the bad ice. But hey, listen, you know, the people from Dallas are coming down here to see how you make great ice. So what do I know? It sucks. But they don't care about that. But the idea that you can't see the red light come on from almost no matter where you're sitting, only in this town, only here, would Neil Rogers be the only person making noise about that. I mean, it's so stupid that it's pathetic. It's idiotic. We got $48 million to spend for a great hockey player, but we don't have $50 to spend for a bigger light bulb down there or whatever it would take. It's like the Greg Reed way again. It's like the Greg Reed effing way. Oh, well, they don't appreciate it. Hank doesn't appreciate that beautiful state-of-the-art studio I got upstairs that I built for those guys. Oh, my God, with the same crappy equipment they had over in the other joint.
Don't forget the shiny new microphones.
No, but the shiny new microphones, right. State-of-the-art, my ass. Like they just, the engineer just had to place the module in George's board's the one I crapped out today. Mine was last Friday. George's was today.
The new one blew up also. With that.
Oh, great. So, because we have Tinker Toy stuff here. We have stuff that even Edison would be laughing at. So he's in a state of delusion. He just deludes himself into believing that, they spare no expense to provide us the very best, which they don't. And it's the same with the people over there in that arena, whoever's running that place. You're a joke. You're a laughing stock. Here's a mobile in Sunrise. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing, Neil? Listen, I saw the greatest thing on the back of a car. I was wondering if you or one of your listeners know where I can get it. You know the Jesus fish?
Yeah.
Well, I saw a Jesus fish being eaten by a truth fish on the back of someone's van. If someone's out there or you know where I can get that, I just need to get one for the back of my truck.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll find out from the Truth Police. They'll be calling any minute. 2 open lines in Broward, all 3 in Dade. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Pompano. Hello.
Hey, Neil, did you hear exactly what they busted, what they said they busted the people at Trapeze for?
No.
Rick Slopchest had it on Channel 7 last night talking to the sheriff or whoever it was, something for conducting lewdness, which was defined as obscene.
Yeah.
The scary part about that is that's you. How about me and the wife decide we want to have a couple over to the house?
Uh-huh.
Hey, can they come in my house?
Evidently.
And say the same thing. And it was about anonymous tips had caused that whole entire thing.
Mm-hmm. But, let me say it again. It's a private club. There are no minors there. There is nobody there except people who are voluntarily there. And whatever they do in there is their business.
Oh, I know.
They're not counterfeiting money in there. They're not manufacturing some bootleg illegal product in there. They're diddling each other. And if that's what they want to do, like you said, if they come over to each other's house, what difference does it make? Why should that bother anybody?
Mine and my wife's membership, I ran out in December.
Yeah.
We were members the first Trapeze.
Well, you're lucky. You'd be calling me from the inside now. You'd be making your call of the day.
Oh yeah, but and there's some other people around in Broward County that have house parties,
right?
With backyards with big back fences. And,
you can't do that.
Oh, it's a bunch
unless you're just grilling weenies. I mean, I don't think those weenies they're worried about yet, but the other kind they're psychotic.
It's a bunch of educated people who, like you said, aren't bothering anybody. I was listening to the Rick and Spud show earlier before you came on.
I'm sorry.
Well, some guy came on and was bitching about how. The Democrats and big government trying to take over and make you do this and this and this. And
the Democrats are doing that?
Yeah, and force government into your life. And the show went off before I could get on. And I wanted to say it's not the Democrats, it's the Republicans that want big government to stick government in your life.
Yeah, the Republicans are the ones who are in bed with the pleasure police and everybody else they can get in bed with.
And tell you what you can and can't do and who you can be and what you can be.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I just wanted to call and say hi and let you know exactly that the law, any law. I can't understand how in a free country like ours.
It's not a free country. What do you mean a free? Why do you say it's a free country? Where did you come up with that crap? It's not a free country.
Supposedly free country.
Supposedly,
based on the Bill of Rights.
it's another one of those things that people say. Okay, it's a nice sounding cliche. This is not a free country.
Well, I know, but constitutionally, the Bill of Rights don't say anything.
Forget about the Constitution. The Constitution is the laws that are carried out today in the various states have got nothing to do with the Constitution. We have no freedom in this country. Very limited freedoms.
Oh, I know.
We can do whatever they want to the extent that they'll allow us, and then after that, screw it.
I agree.
Have a great day. Yeah, it's a free country, right? That's good material. What time does his show start? We have an open line in Dade, one in Broward, 567-0560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. It's the pleasure police, baby. The wee-wee police. Here's a mobile in Lake Worth. Hello.
How you doing?
Okay, sir.
Good. Well, one of the things is you're not getting calls because you got problems with lines up here. You know that, right? Phone lines up here. You can't dial in on mobiles direct. They send you to some other number. So just so you're aware of that.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when you dial pound 560, it says 467 so on is out of order, and that's the end of that. So you're not going to get any mobile calls from anywhere in AT&T. So that would certainly deplete your audience slightly.
Oh.
And when I told the guy on the phone, he said, "You think management cares? We know about it."
They don't care.
No,
Greg Reed does not care, okay? He is not interested. Like the time he told my lawyer a few months ago, well, what can we do to make Neil happier? What can we provide for him? And we suggested, how about an 800 number, a toll-free number, so the people listening on the West Coast can call us, or the people on the audio net can call in toll-free. And, of course, as soon as you suggest anything to them that might cost money, it's like, forget it.
Well, how about just fixing the phone lines you got?
No, that could cost them money, too, I guess.
No.
They won't do that. They don't care.
Anyway,
they don't care.
One of the things, I just wanted to touch one thing by, the guy I'm disappointed with most on the Panthers this year is Fela. He's playing terrible.
Awful.
Awful. I mean, he was an all-star 2 years ago.
Yeah, not anymore.
He's terrible.
Clueless.
I don't know what we're going to do.
And I'll tell you, even though he scored a goal last night, Victor Kozlov, I'm afraid he's being shown this year to be exactly what San Jose felt he was when they got rid of him. A lot of talent there, potential, a lot of skating ability, like around and around. But he doesn't make anything happen most of the time. And for a guy that's 6'6", like many of those big Russian guys, not physical at all. I mean, not in the least bit. So no matter how big he is, he doesn't use it to his advantage.
That's right. And last of all, I want to ask you this question. Why in the world are they debating this thing in Washington secrecy when everything else has been out in the public?
You know something? I'm glad that they're doing it secretly. You want to know why? Because they said that by doing it this way, instead of each senator getting up there and using the full 15 minutes and posturing to the public watching on television, that they're going to have a hell of a lot less to say. They're going to move it right along. And by Thursday, it looks like we'll finally get the final vote and get this damn thing over with.
That's a good point.
Because what are they going to say that we haven't heard 50 million times already? What are they going to say?
That's true. No cameras, maybe.
Get it over with, right.
Good point. Thank you.
Okay, have a great day. I mean, that line by Chris Dodd yesterday was so perfect. Well, what is it that you want to hear today? I want to hear we yield back the balance of our time from both sides, and let's get this over. Nice going, Chris. Chris Dodd, who looks just like Jerry Williams, by the way. Ever notice how a lot of those New England people, they all look the same? You never knew Jerry Williams, right? He looks just like Chris Dodd, only a lot older, and like an older version, much older. 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Yeah, it's working fine, Neil. I'm talking to you.
Okay. Well, he was talking in Palm Beach, I guess.
Oh, really? You play these little bits and these little cards, like the lady that says it's the American,
Yeah.
And everybody knows that's the American fucking way.
Yeah.
See that? Now, everybody in the nation knows what she's saying.
Yeah.
So why do you have to bleep it?
Because it's not a free country, because the FCC will not allow us to play it unexpurgated. We have to put the bleep in there because we're a bunch of overgrown children.
Right.
As if children might be listening and never heard that word in the schoolyard before.
Right. Well, I saw the George Carlin bit a few nights ago, and he did the 7 words.
Yeah.
Now you're using some of those words, even. Like
And
the kitty cat.
And yeah, but not in that sense. We're not though.
Uh-huh.
You have to play games. You have to find a circuitous way around so they can try to do it, humorously, because you have to humor them.
So if I say Neil's a pussy, that's okay.
That's okay. But don't refer to a female genitalia with that word, or we got big problems on our hands.
It's incredible.
We got a real smelly problem on our hands.
Absolutely amazing.
Well, have a great day, sir, and God bless America, okay? Oh, it's the land of the free. Oh, the free. We got all these freedoms. It's a free country. See, people who say that are people that have never been anywhere else. That's really free, like, Paraguay. 2 open lines in Dade 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. 1056 at QAM.
A planet where apes evolved from men.
Y2K, we go dark, and our computers go offline. Y2K, we go dark, everybody's gonna die. People will panic with murder and havoc. I read that in a magazine, in a comic book store. If you believe it's the end of the world and see the market crashing again, for the millennium, the long time, start jumping away.
Oh, yeah, the world's coming to an end, as we discussed yesterday. Make no mistake about it. The Y2K, we've only got, about 10 months and a couple of weeks, and then it'll be all over. So we better have a good time in the meantime. But not if you live in Broward, though, please. Watch yourself in Broward. Watch your ass. Open line in Day 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. There's a mobile in West Palm Beach. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Hi. Last week I was watching, before I went to work, I had turned on Imus on MSNBC.
Yeah.
And about this Mr. Robinson down there trying to get himself a little blowjob, they had the police officer call in on the radio, and I don't know if you had heard this or not, but that police officer was actually a male police officer dressed up.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if you had heard that.
If it's good enough for Eddie Murphy, it's good enough for Eugene.
If that was true or not.
Yeah. Well, what
to be embarrassing as it is to be in the first
that would have been a double whammy.
Oh, while he's down there getting that, if he would have reached up underneath that skirt and boom, well, that
right.
got a little surprise.
And no extra charge.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Neil, thanks.
Okay. So there you go. It was a drag queen. It was a guy dressed up as a hooker, which, why the hell not? Maybe he's got bad eyesight. Or maybe he was looking for a guy dressed. Maybe he was like Eddie Murphy. Maybe that's the big thing now. Maybe it's a cultural thing. 2 open lines in Day 2 in Broward on a real slow, drag-assy Tuesday here. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Is this town, I thought it was really something today that we got Pavel Bure inside him the first time, but is this town really worked up into a frenzy now that we got them locked up for 5, maybe 6 years?
No.
Do they care?
No.
No. When you go to the arena and you listen to the people talking, we had people sitting behind us last night. Now, I got to be honest with you. I never watched St. Louis play. To me, I just don't like their team. I don't find them interesting. I find them boring. I get all the games on the small dish. I just never watched the Blues. So even when they came out for practice before the game, I look at a few of the names, and some of them I know, and there are a lot of guys that I never heard of before, which is very unusual for me because I watch a lot of hockey games. But the Blues are not one of those teams I watch. Now, they got a kid, number 42. His name is Fitzpatrick. I have no idea who he is, where he came from, what he did, what planet he's from. I know nothing about him. Now, we used to have Mark Fitzpatrick, who was a goalie, okay, for the Panthers, who moved on to Tampa and then Chicago. And I'm listening to people, they're out there in practice, and here comes this 42 Fitzpatrick is skating around, and the guy behind me says to the other guy, oh, yeah, there's Fitzpatrick. He used to play for the Panthers. This guy, he's like a forward. He's skating, he's not a goalie. Even a moron can see the difference between a goaltender with all the pads and the heavy equipment and the big glove and a big stick, Even George knows the difference between a goalie and like a forward or defenseman. And the comments are just so inane. Seriously, I'm exaggerating when I say 10 or 20% of us in that joint have any idea what the game is all about. I'm exaggerating. We're talking about a smattering of us, a tiny smattering, who have got any clue of what's going on there. And the rest of it, your guess is as good as mine, baby. Your guess is as good as mine. They're schmoozing, they're socializing, they're juking, they're jiving. They even now have a contrived thing on the scoreboard. It's a scene from some cornball sports movie with Gene Hackman, where he's making this impassioned speech in the locker room to his team. And they start going like this. Have you ever seen that? And then they all start, and then they show the hands coming together up on the scoreboard. Okay, and everybody says, and the audience says, hey, in the crowd, we're applauding now. Contrived excitement. And see, you only have to do that when you're dealing with people who have no idea what's going on. Contrived. Here's a mobile in Doral. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
You're going to love this one. You're really going to love this one. Today's Herald, page 7A, real short paragraph.
Yes.
On the Vatican City. Okay, check this out. Dayline, Vatican City. Marijuana smoking.
Brain cyst cited in Swiss Guard
That
killings.
one.
Already had it. Thank you, sir. Way ahead of you. Had that last hour. That's a story about the Swiss Guard. You're going to love this. Way ahead of you. We have an open line at date, all three in Broward. 567-0560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Westchester. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to ask you, how old is your shtick?
How old is my shtick?
Yeah.
As old as the rest of me.
Well, the thing is...
Here we go right off the bat again with a guy that sounds very disgruntled, who wants to attack me, attack the show. Why do you listen if my shtick is old and worn out? Why are you still listening?
Because I'm homesick today.
No, you're homesick today, and the best you can do on a home day sick is to listen to the show. Were you sick before or after you started listening?
When I started listening to you.
That's when it made you sick.
The thing is, Neil, seriously,
Yeah,
you've got
seriously.
such an old shtick. You rag on the radio station.
Right.
You rag on Miami. You rag on how there's no...
Then let me say it again.
There's no hot...
Why are you
It's an
listening?
old shtick,
Then why are you listening, sir?
I just happened to be going through the station.
Now wait a minute. Let me ask you this. What kind of a sane person goes through the stations long enough and finds something that they find offensive, old, tired, and that they don't like, and stops long enough to make a phone call? What kind of a sick bastard does that? Talk about sick.
I'll tell you because
Please
I forgot...
tell me, sir. We'd love to hear it.
All right, because I forgot about you, and then I heard your voice, and I...
Well, you know something?
started
Guess what?
listening,
I hate
and
to break
it's
the news to you, sir. I just deposited a big check in the bank 2 days ago. I just got through depositing a big bonus ratings check 2 days ago for the numbers that came out a week ago. So I hate to break the news to you, but everybody else is still listening. So it may be old and it may be tired, but I think you're the one that's got the problem. And like I've told you a million times, anybody that miserable, and of course that's what this town is all about anyway, but anybody that miserable with whatever he hears here that would take the time to make the call and stay on hold for a couple of minutes to express his displeasure and his contempt, he's squeezing it right now. There isn't anybody in this audience, sir, that you're fooling. Not one. Not even the dumbest of the dumb. Even the people who hate me like poison are sniggering and snickering right now because they know that you're grabbing yourself from sexual excitement, having gotten on the air here to make your big attack. We remain duly unimpressed. And you know something, sir? If things ever changed in this radio station, if management ever got smart, if something brilliant ever happened, if they actually brought us in some new equipment, I'd be the first one to come on here and say, oh, my God, these people got smart. I'd be the first one to tell you that. I tell you exactly the way it is. You just can't handle that. And the reason it sounds old and tired to you is because I've been here a long time, and guess what? This town isn't getting any different. You go to those games, the fans aren't getting any smarter. You do these shows, and the calls like yours, they're not getting any better. So this show is like what it always has been, a mirror image of this community and of this whoever I'm working for. And like I told our ex-sales buddy Henry there last night at the game, it doesn't make much difference who you're working for in this town because they're all pretty much the same. Just a matter of degree. Some of them spend a little more money on equipment. Some of them do a little bit better promotion. But generally speaking, it's all pretty much Bush League. So I'm sorry that you can't handle the truth, sir. I'm sorry that you forgot about me. Is there anybody who believes that this man forgot about me?
No.
Just forgot that I existed.
No.
And I certainly hope you're feeling better very, very soon, don't we?
No.
9 minutes after 11 at 560 QAM.
I think. It's hard to think, see?
Well, stay in school, don't go out on your own. 'Cause there's a whole lot of stuff you just can't do at home. Search all around, but you won't see a CEO with a GED. Well, nothing compares to the marvelous feeling of making butter patties stick to the ceiling, smoking in the bathroom, making out in the hall, or hitting a fat kid with a speeding dodgeball. Yeah, I remember that. And throw a paper wad with a fire alarm, blow up the toilet with a cherry bomb, dissect a frog in biology class, find yourself a nerd and wedge his ass. Well, you'll be a hit in chemistry when you make the class a batch of LSD. Start a food fight, you milk out your nose. When you go to school, where anything goes. So stay in school, don't go out on your own. 'Cause there's a whole lot of stuff you just can't do at home. Search all around, but you won't see a CEO with a GED. Search all around, but you won't see a CEO with a GED.
It's 11:15 at 560 WQM. So getting back to the tired old schtick again. Oh, that guy was beautiful. I mean, just so obvious, so transparent, like looking through a pane of glass. Oh, well, I'm so homesick today. I was homesick last Thursday and went to the doctor, took the day off from work. And the only reason I turned on the radio when I got home was to see if George was doing a show or they slapped the tape on, which they did because Joe Costello was getting his eyes sliced up again. And I turned it right off. Now, I do the show. This is my livelihood. I work here on this radio station. But I was homesick. Did I listen to the show?
No.
Of course not. But here's a guy who's homesick from work today. He not only listens to the show, but he's calling the show to tell me how tired and old and stale. He had forgotten about me, but I'm glad I didn't let you down, pal. I'm glad I didn't disappoint you with something new and exciting like what a great town this is and what a bunch of great callers we got. Like last night, I'm sitting there at the game. Here's another deal behind me. I mean, I could write a book just about the stuff you overhear people talking about. About the nonstop, the incessant crap that goes on in a conversation there. Little or nothing of which has to do with the game or with anything that's going on in that building. There's a woman sitting behind us last night with a family, and she's loud, talking about some contretemps she had with a neighbor about her dog. Something about the dog did this, and she's going on loud. This is while the game is going on, loud. And she's recounting the whole story and about how the neighbor tape recorded something and the dog allegedly did whatever the deal was, loud. Okay, now it was annoying enough the first time, but now a little bit later on, like a half hour later, somebody else they know comes in and is sitting down there for a while with them, and now the whole story again. Oh, well, you should have seen. They videotaped it, and the dog did and then he did a...
Scored.
Yeah. And I'm sitting there. I came so close, I felt like turning around and saying, it wasn't that interesting the first time, but the second time it's terminal, okay? And both times it was much too loud. I mean, it wasn't all that loud in the arena last night, okay? It wasn't the blaring, blasting noise that we usually have or sometimes have. It was, you could actually talk to other people and hear what they were saying. It wasn't really necessary to pretend you were back in New York and talk like everybody was deaf. We're not talking old people here. We're talking about like young and middle-aged people talking, which don't have to talk quite that loud, sweetheart, about your dog story. 2 open lines in Dade, 1 in Broward. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I got 2 things. First of all, though, to address the asshole that just called.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. I mean, this guy, he runs off the same mentality that this Broward sheriff runs off of. God forbid anybody should have any fun, do anything like go to a private swingers club or go out and gamble on the water or listen to an intelligent show like yours.
This is not an intelligent show, and I never pretend to be intelligent. It's a goofball show.
I don't mean it that way.
It's 4 hours of
entertaining.
Some time. That's all.
It's entertaining. It's the only damn thing that's entertaining on the radio.
Yes.
I mean, and the guy can switch the channel.
No, he can't. He's too sick to do that. He could reach over and pick up the telephone. Maybe somebody made the call for him. He couldn't reach over and switch the channel.
You know what, Neil? Who's he kidding? He's got your number on speed dial on his goddamn telephone.
Right.
Who's he kidding? Anyway, secondly, on this Y2K thing, if this is such a big tragedy that's going to happen, how come everybody and their brother can use credit cards that run out after the year 2000 with no problem.
That's right. I just got my new American Express Platinum card yesterday. It expires 7/02,
Exactly.
2002.
If it was such a big deal, the computers would be going crazy now.
That's right. Because when you, as you know, if you buy an airline ticket on the phone, for example, from an airline, they give them your credit card number. They say, well, what's the expiration date? And they put that in there. If they put in a date 2000 or afterward, the computers would go bananas.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of crap.
In addition to which, what did our grandparents ever do? How did they ever buy groceries without computers?
I don't know.
How did they ever get food stuff delivered? How did they ever get produce delivered without computers?
I didn't start until the 70s when the computers became popular, right?
How is it that we somehow survive without computers?
Neil, I love you, and there's a lot of us out here, of course, that love you. The other asshole, we know he's probably still listening.
Well, maybe he's got something terminal. Have a great day, pal.
Butch up.
See ya. Okay, we have an open line in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. You're old and you're stale like last year's halava. Yeah, and see, when you're not feeling the best, which lately for about like 7 or 8 weeks, which you don't want to hear about because that's old and stale. But when you're not feeling your best, that kind of call to me, and it has the exact opposite effect that he thinks it has. I love that. If I had a half a dozen calls like that every day, it would make my life. Because I don't have to do anything with an asshole like that. He's just dropping his pants, showing his to the world, and I can just sit there and say, hey, look at that, there's an asshole. Here's Miami. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Why are such a high percentage of your phone calls mobile phones?
Because most living people are out doing stuff.
I don't think so. You're boring.
Oh, that's what it is. I'm boring, therefore people are... That was the best. Not only is he listening and calling like the other guy, but the logic. I want you to stop and think of this, okay? The reason that they're calling from their car phones and their pickup trucks on their mobile phones is because I'm boring. But if they're inside a building with no life whatsoever, like this guy in a broom closet somewhere, I'm not scintillating enough to get them to turn on the radio. Of course, the fact that you can't pick up this radio station in most buildings anyway, that also has nothing to do with that. No, seriously, I know more people would tell me, well, I'd love to listen during the day, but we can't pick up AM inside. Or we can't pick up your station inside. Look at that. Every call on the board. I got 5 calls on there right now. Every one is a mobile call.
And so was the last one.
He was?
Wasn't it?
No, it just said Miami. No, he wasn't. He wouldn't know how to drive a car. In fact, he was in that same category with
all of these things
that we've been hiring lately. He was in that same. In fact, that might have been... Maybe that's the water Nazi's new assistant for upstairs, the new traffic assistant. You got some nerve. And then John Jarris has got the chutzpah to ask me in the elevator coming up this morning, am I going to their big ratings party? Oh, this is great. All these other people are going to, eat free food and have a whole bunch of drinks and get, plastered based on our ratings. Nice going, Neil and George.
Oh!
Thank you. You're welcome. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil, you're boring.
Yeah.
How about that? Hey,
No, but only the mobile calls think I'm exciting. The people inside the buildings think I'm boring.
well, that was the best laugh I've had in the show in a while.
I'm trying to follow. I'm trying to connect the dots, okay, with that logic there. I'm boring, therefore only people in mobile phones call this show.
Well, listen, one of the ongoing topics on the show about the sportsmen with criminal past that get away with murder.
Yeah, SIS, scumbags in sports.
Well, why do you just segment that, though? I mean, isn't it pretty much just anybody that makes a reasonable millionaire living that gets away with the same thing? I mean, I don't understand why we segment just sports figures, because you've got, Kennedy's, the mayor of Miami.
How's Mary Jo doing, by the way?
Great, but why would we just want to segment
How's
just
Marilyn
sports
Monroe
figures?
doing? Well, we don't, but it just seems to be there seems to be an epidemic of it right at the moment.
I guess so.
Kennedys,
I guess we just don't hear about the other
most of the
guys.
Kennedys aren't feeling too good right now. Well, we hear about it when what's his name from Hustler magazine, Larry Flint, decides he's going to out some of these guys. Then we hear about it, and then nobody seems to care too much. By the way, nobody gives a crap.
Well, it just seems to me like a little bit of hypocrisy when everybody else sits up on a pedestal and acts like these sports figures just because they've done something wrong. And granted,
You mean like Mike Tyson, who went to jail for rape and who has all his record as long as your arm?
should have never
got
been
into
let out.
got
I
into
agree.
a fender bender and beat the crap out of the one guy and kicked the other guy in the groin. I mean, you know, that seems like the normal average thing to do. That.
Well, Kennedy wrecked a car, killed a woman, and he's serving in the Senate.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so
in other words, what you're saying is that if wealthy people, and of course we know that athletes aren't wealthy people, right? In fact, Tony Martin could only afford Johnny Cochran and Roy Black.
Right. I mean, I agree with you 100%.
I'm just missing your point. I don't see what the point is.
Well, I guess because the focus, it seems to me, the focus of late has been solely on athletes, and maybe that's because there's more incidents in the news.
Yeah, and it seemed to me that what OJ did, I mean, you know, granted, Mary Jo Kopechne ain't alive today, but nevertheless, it was supposedly an accident. They did their best to cover it up, and he was drunk out of his mind. But I mean, Nicole and Ron Goldman weren't an accident, I don't think.
Oh, and you have
unless the machete slipped. What is it?
His nephew that was Michael that was acquitted of rape.
Yeah.
You know, that probably committed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
but
what I'm trying to say is if you got the money, you're going to get it all.
But didn't he have a trial, though?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has had their trials. Everyone that's convicted of doing a crime, if they're caught, they should go to trial. But the bottom line is, if you got the money, you're getting off. Whether you're a
well,
public
if you got the
figure,
money, then you can afford Johnny Cochran and Roy Black and the big shot attorneys. That's right.
Exactly. So I guess the point is that if
Sir, I think the point you're trying to make is
that's the American fucking way.
We have two open lines in Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. For just a second there, I was a little bit nervous because I thought he was trying to make the point is that we shouldn't be picking on these athletes because after all, they run fast and jump high and get high and stuff like that. For just a moment there, I was terrified by the thought that he was trying to make that point.
Esta es el show de la mañana con Jorge. Esta es su cerebro. ¿Tienes preguntas?
My sack is like a thimble and my nuts are like pearls. I don't even have enough to pack a squirrel. I've tried secret lotions and technology, but it don't get no bigger than a golf bee. There's nothing I can do. I only got a 3-inch tool. You'll be disappointed when we reach my house, 'cause you won't know for sure if I'm a man or a mouse. It ain't no Big Mac, more like a Happy Meal. You'd get more satisfaction from your high heel. You'll swear I was in the pool, 'cause I only got a 3-inch tool. Sometimes at night I wonder if it will ever grow. If I was a homosexual, I couldn't even push in your stool. Ooh, it looks like Mr. Peanut without the chains. It's got capillaries instead of veins. I could cut circulation with a pinky ring. For Halloween I dress it like a buffalo wing.
Yes.
It's in a suction tube, 'cause I only got a 3-inch tool. Even with a metric rule, I only got a 3-inch tool. Tell them, guys.
Yeah, you got a 3-inch tool.
Oh, baby.
Yeah, you got a 3-inch tool.
Come here, honey.
Yeah, you got a 3-inch tool.
It's quality, not quantity.
You got a 3-inch tool.
Now, if I could only find a 3-inch toolbox.
It's 11:32 at 560 WQM. By the way, it just took me this long to figure out the guy that's homesick today, allegedly, that tells me I'm doing the same old shtick. Sorry that we disrupted his session with his Henry Hyde blow-up doll. That's where that guy's coming from. You have to start thinking about these things. You have to wonder, well, is it a cop that's been out of shape because I'm talking about all these ridiculous busts of swing clubs in Broward? Is that it?
No.
Not in his case, I don't think. No, this guy's like, he's one of those closet right-wingers that's humping his Trent Lott doll right now, waving his pom-poms. We have an open line in Broward and Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. See, I hate to break the news to you, sir, but the reason I scream and yell about the management and about the equipment is because Jim Crawford, one of our engineers, was just in there trying to fix George's board again today. Last Friday it was in here. Now it's in there because they're trying to make magic out of nothing. And our general manager's got the chutzpah to come down here and tell me, oh, well, it wasn't a bum's rush. The engineers promised it would be done by such and such.
Boy, does he have a lot of chutzpah.
Yes. Sure does. Always somebody else's fault. Always somebody else that made him look bad. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil, enjoying your entertainment. You got too many people taking this serious.
Yeah.
Now here,
it's a goddamn radio show. What are they all bent out of shape? And let me say it again. This is one of the most unhappy towns in the universe. We've got more miserable people, more hostile people. I mean, stop and think about it. Would you even think of coming across something on the radio that you allegedly didn't even know was there, and then taking the time to call and express your displeasure with it, as opposed to turning to something else or finding something else to do?
It was probably halftime of the Springer Show or something.
Probably, yeah.
You know. Now listen, you're terminal about your hockey fans. Now here's what's going on. I gave up, and I'm a real fan, and the real fans aren't there anymore because they're pricing everybody out. And I make a good living. I'm making the low six figures. I can't afford it anymore. Now
I understand. It's $57 a head. That's right.
I gave up my Heat tickets 2 years ago and took the kids skiing this summer. This winter, we went to Vail. Now I'm going to give up my Panther tickets, and I'll probably go to Hawaii. I'm not going to support these guys anymore. I've kept my dog.
Listen, let me say it again. Maybe you never heard me say this. If the station didn't provide me with my own tickets for all the games, there isn't a Chinaman's chance in hell that I would buy Panther tickets, especially after what we sat through last year and until they got buried this year, what we saw the first third of the season. I mean, just pathetic, putrid.
Now maybe Wayne can raise the parking. Maybe he'll raise it up to $40 or $50 for the Dolphins, and then the hell with them too. You know, as long as it's on TV, I'm going to take advantage of it. I'm not going to support him anymore. I'm still hanging in there with my Dolphin tickets. But it's a joke. I think hockey is pretty close to pricing themselves out. They've caught up quickly, haven't they?
Now, you look at all the empty seats you see, because no matter what arena you look at, you see lots and lots of empty seats, even in the lower bowl. And the lower bowl are all those corporate seats. And again, the only reason that those are sold is because they're bought up by the big companies. But if they don't give them away to somebody, or if they don't bother showing up on that night, what you're stuck with is lots and lots of empty seats.
It's getting pathetic out there.
Yep.
All right.
But hey, listen, these guys got to make the $8, $9, $10 million a year.
They drove the fans away. That's about it.
Okay, see you in Hawaii.
All right.
Yeah, it's a better investment. I mean, if you had to choose between going to Hawaii or buying season hockey tickets, or tickets for 20, forget about season tickets, for 10 or 20 games for the whole family, go to Hawaii, man. You'll have a hell of a lot better time. I guarantee you that, as much as I'm a big hockey fan. I mean, let's face it, these owners and these sports moguls, these people, they expect it's like obligatory. Well, we went out and built the stadium. Of course, even in this case, if it wasn't with their own money, they went out and built this beautiful facility, even though a lot of stuff doesn't work that should. And now we're obligated to go out there and support it with our tangible funds. And a lot of people are saying, no way. Here's a mobile in Kendall. Hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
I'm bored. I'm on a mobile, but it's got nothing to do with you.
Okay.
In regard to Monica and Bill, a little face is no disgrace in the right place.
Mm-hmm.
You have a great day, buddy.
Okay, thank you so much. What do you say, a little muss about some puss? Oh, what do you say? Something that rhymed with the puss. We have open lines in Dade, 5670560 and 560 on the AT&T wireless line. See, now we get back to that guy that called before about how you use the word. You have to be real careful because the word police are sitting up there at the FCC. Oh, I mean, it just overwhelms me. Talk about old and stale and tired. Being in a country where they refuse to make any progress, where they refuse to come out into the sunshine and move out of the dark age. Oh, we got the word police, the pleasure police, the T-shirt on the beach police. Life is a beach. Uh-oh, yeah. Bunch of old farts up there in Hollywood going to have a nervous breakdown about that. We got the bumper sticker police. Every goddamn thing you want to do in this country, we got a brand of police for that, because just in case you might actually be having a good time, even if you're not harming anybody. The frickin' pleasure police. 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T line. George will be here at 1:30. What are you going to do for a half hour, by the way?
Talk about swinging.
Oh. And then at 2 o'clock, we got Hank from 2 to 6. We got Booster 6 to 10, talking baseball from 6 to 8. Do we know why?
No.
And then Eddie Kaplan, the compulsive gambling show at 10 o'clock.
Why are you airing shit like this?
A little bit of paint will paint my balls with colors to display. A little bit of paint Look better when my balls hang down this way on each of my nuts. I'd like to pay a happy little yellow thing, a little bit of paint to make your balls look better this way.
You take a brush and you swing it on your nuts as you very gently touch and
dab away.
You can festoon and dress up your gagagools to tickle and amuse and place on your lover's face.
Oh, a little bit of time will paint my balls with color to display a little bit of pain. Look better when my balls hang down this way. So just make their toes or their nails, but they should open up their eyes with that gray. A little bit of paint will make your balls look better this way. A little bit of paint will make your balls look better this way. A little bit of paint will make your
Paint your ball spot? Okay, 17 before noon at 560 QAM.
I don't have a bald spot.
Open line at Dade 1 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I was watching a show last night on television discussing that guy that got fired for saying niggardly.
Yes.
And it hurt me, Neil. It hurt me so bad it was like somebody chucked a spear through the watermelon of my heart, Neil.
Yeah.
And I want to know if it's still all right to order jujubes. You're Jewish.
No, you can't do that anymore.
Thanks.
It's not politically correct. No more jujubes. I used to like those, too, by the way, when you used to go to the movies back to Cameo Theater in Rochester 800 years ago. We have an open line at Dade 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Boca. Hello.
Hi. Yeah?
Yes.
How you doing?
Okay.
You know, you're talking about all these people that kind of like really lame down in here in South Florida. I was driving in Oakland Park and it said, you know, there's this big sign painted right, like somebody spray painted it right on the side of the road, and it said, "Welcome to Oakland Park, the village of apathy."
Yeah. Well, at least they're honest about it anyway.
It's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Well,
it's not going to change, sir. Maybe that's what that other guy's really so depressed about that wants to take it out on me. This town isn't going to change. You can come back from 10 years from now, 30 years from now, and they're going to be talking the same stuff, and it's going to be the same way because it's never going to change.
that's pretty sad then, huh?
Well, that's pretty sad, right? Have a great day. It's pretty sad. Right?
Yes.
2 open lines in Dade, 1 in Broward. That's pretty sad. That's pretty goddamn sad is what it is. 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. They are actively apathetic. They are enthusiastically indifferent. You pick the topic, no matter what it is. Their local politics, what will you name it, whatever it is. The pleasure police, they don't care. They're not interested. They don't care what's going on. Just to leave them the hell alone. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello. Mobile in Miami.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, first-time caller, long-time listener. I'm not a mobile, but
I know.
I wasn't sure it was me. Listen, went to my first Panthers game last night.
Sorry.
Yeah.
At least it was entertaining anyway. It was pretty exciting.
Yeah, the first period was, at least.
Mm-hmm.
I thought we were doing pretty good, up 3-1. Also, I am a police officer, and about 90% of us do listen to you and agree with you.
Well, I'm aware of that.
Oh, yeah.
At least the listening part. I don't know about the agreement.
Yeah, at least the ones that admit that they listen to you. Some don't also. Also, I went to Columbus, and
really?
Yeah, about 20 years ago. I
There's no
graduated.
fags in the church.
No, and whoever calls you and says there's no fags over there is not telling you the truth.
They're in deep denial.
Yes, they are, because there's many teachers there that would like to say are on the other side.
Like to swing it in that direction, yeah.
And what happened with that number 8 there last night? Who's that? Because he was a stiff.
Sissy Spacek.
Yeah, that's Sissy. We sat in the 8th row. First time, we got a couple tickets from a friend of ours, half price.
Yeah.
That's the only reason we went. We wouldn't have paid that.
In fact, he should have been arrested for impersonating a defenseman last night. Sissy Spacek. He has got to go, man.
Yeah,
He's the worst.
What happened to their defense last night?
They missed the bus over to the arena. They missed the bus.
We need Pavel back.
But he ain't going to help the defense. I mean, they score. Look, when you score 4 goals, ordinarily that should be enough to win, especially when your goalie is playing as good as Burke did for the first 2 periods. That should be enough to win. But when your defense doesn't show, I mean, I'll say it again. I've been watching hockey for 41 years. I've never, ever seen a game where there's so many breakaways, one after another, and it was kind of like, well, you're on your own, pal, because we're just not going to do anything tonight.
Yeah, that's it. No defense.
Terrible. The worst.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but other than that, we had a pretty good time, and I think we may go back once in a while, but not for $60 a ticket.
Exactly.
That's
well, when somebody comes up with some free tickets, I'll see you there.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Dale.
Okay, have a great day. Yeah, they're pricing it out. That's why the ambiance is different. That's why you rarely see most of the same people in the same seats. There are a few exceptions, but most of them are like share-in packages, or they get them whenever the boss will give them the tickets. And no matter what sport it is, that's the way it's become now. That's why they have to put that thing on there with Gene Hackman. You know, the applause. Oh, it's time to applaud. Now, come on, make some noise. 2 open lines in Day 2 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Port Charlotte. Hello.
Hey, Neil, I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but that guy that called about the Imus show,
yeah,
that was so obviously a bit. I can't believe anyone would believe that. I mean, it was a character they were trying to do, and the fact that somebody would believe that means...
I don't even remember the call. What was he talking about?
Oh, about they interviewed the cop who arrested Eugene Robinson. It was a cop dressed up like a woman in Miami Beach.
This was a comedy bit, and this guy was too stupid to catch on to it?
It was so... I was doing a comedy bit. You can imagine what it sounded like.
Right.
It was horrendous, and this guy believed it. Which
and not only that, now I'm wondering if he saw it on TV, because he said he saw it on MSNBC. When they do the comedy bits on there, they show the reel spinning, you know, that
they show a reel spinning and just play a tape.
Right.
And
even with the reel spinning, he still thought it was the real thing.
Unbelievable. That's why
maybe he'd be spelling it wrong.
That's why the guy's still on the air, because he's got people like this listening to him.
Oh my God.
Also,
every morning I channel surf, and I have to go by channel 5 on my cable, which is MSNBC, and I see him sitting there, and every single day, the last week and a half, he's had his brother Fred on the phone, and this morning he was going through this long, talk about old and stale, the thing about the farm again, and about how they give him so much trouble out there with the ranch in New Mexico, and about how the New York Times had to write this retraction. Now, I don't even watch the show, okay? I only see it channel surfing for like a few seconds at a time. Every time I go through there, he's on with Fred Imus talking about the ranch, buying the farm.
He's got these kids with cancer. They're going to come out and work the ranch for him, which I think is amazing. He's got free labor.
Yeah.
He gets these cancer, leukemia-stricken kids. They're going to come out, and he's doing them a favor. They're going to come out and milk the cows and clean up cow crap.
Uh-huh.
So the guy's a fraud. He really is. Speaking of frauds, your buddy up in Fort Lauderdale is the one who's behind a lot of this Y2K problem, Dr. Kennedy.
He's behind it? He's behind all the paranoia, yeah.
He's selling a videotape and a book.
Sure.
And
absolutely. Hey, listen, he never met a capitalist idea that he didn't like.
Yeah, so more power to him, right?
Have a great day.
All right.
Good old Dr. Kennedy up there, man. They never met a marketing tool that they didn't like. In fact, a lot of those preachers, they never met a tool they didn't hop on. We have 2 open lines in Dade, 1 and 2 in Broward, 5670560. We're pushing it here today. We're squeezing because it's old, it's tired, it's boring too, by the way, which is why we can't get anybody inside a building. Look at that, 2 more mobiles. We got 2 calls left there. Let's get somebody inside a building. What the hell is wrong with you people? Wake them up. Inside the building. Can you hear us, huh?
No.
Well, I'll talk louder. How's that?
Please don't bang on that board.
Why? Might actually fix some of this crap. Piece of garbage, and this man's got the chutzpah to come down here. Oh, after we built that beautiful state-of-the-art studio up there, and Hank's still upset. You know, Greg, I'm going to tell you, you can't possibly really be as dumb as you put on. Seriously, I've never worked for anybody even Stanley Cohen, who was a really dumb man. Even Stanley Cohen was a genius compared to the performance this guy puts on when he comes down here. And he always has that kind of like confused, like like Al Martino in The Godfather. What should I do? What should I do? That kind of look on his face, you know. And the reason he's saying that, what should he do, is because, quite frankly, he hasn't got a clue. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Davie. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
I heard you talking earlier about the Henry Lyons thing. I've been in and out of the car.
Yes?
Do you know how he got caught originally?
Tell me.
The Tampa story. His wife, his real wife, found out about the house he had with his bimbo.
Brenda Harris.
Broke in, and she set the house on fire, and the cops arrested her for arson.
That's right. Now, I remember that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, that's over 2 years. That's been a front page story in Tampa for over 2 years.
Right.
But I thought that was just cute, how they finally nailed him, is because his wife got kicked off and put all his clothes in the living room and set him on fire.
Oh! All right. But, you know, when you're stealing $5 million, I guess you could afford to replace them. Okay, we have one open line at Broward. All of Broward, whatever the hell it is on that board. I have no idea anymore. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello?
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Eres tremendo macho, te quisiera besarle el ombligo.
Yeah. And what was that?
You're very macho and he wants to kiss your navel.
Oh, really? Okay. Stick it in your
rectum.
Okay, one call left on the board. Bored is the word, baby. That's me. I'm bored with this crowd. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's Miami. Hello?
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
If life is so bad at that radio station, why don't you leave?
Because they're paying me a lot of money. That's why.
They're wrong.
They're wrong?
For paying you that money.
Then why are you listening? If I'm not worth that money, why are you listening?
Because you whine so much, it goes over to the other stations.
Oh, I whine. It's a heterodyne whine. All right. All over the dial. Excellent job, sir. See how original these people are? It's like the guy that called before that started this, and now there's a run on these calls. Now they got the run all over the place. Like the one that called immediately with a very bad material about I'm boring because all the callers are mobiles. Just one after another after another. Yeah, it's another radio accident. You're so bad and you're so boring and you're whining all over the dial. And I'll take the check, thank you. We have an open line in Dade, all three in Broward. Broward died on us. 5670560, pound 560. Maybe they all moved to Oakland Park where the motto is we just don't give a crap. We don't care. Pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in fact, we do have a lady that's in a house, thank God, in a building. Here's a mobile in Cutler Ridge. Hello.
Hello, Doctor.
Yes?
Hey, Neil. I just wanted to talk to you. I know it's not a sports station, but I have to talk to you about one thing and get your opinion on. What about these guys? I listen to the first team every once in a while. What about these guys that they're talking about, these multi-million-dollar basketball players, and they're so amazed that they come in shape? I mean, they get $10 million a year.
Yeah.
And they're amazed that they come to ready to play and in shape.
Yeah.
It's like, what's the deal? I mean, they're paid for a full year. They're getting paid astronomical amount of money, and they can't even come back in shape? That's ridiculous. That's like you or me coming to work not prepared.
No, what's more ridiculous, though, is that people would care about that. See, after these guys were making all this money, slap the public in the face.
Exactly.
And they come within like an inch of having the season canceled, and they say, oh, no, we think we'll take the money, thank you. And then there are people actually who will show up. That's what's astonishing.
That's
not the fact that people care whether they're in shape or out of shape. Who cares about that? The fact that people actually will care and lend their tangible support again and shell out the big bucks to go see guys who don't care about them.
Not me, Neil. I'm with you, man. The NBA sucks. I wish it would have canceled the whole damn season.
Exactly.
Yep.
But then what the hell would that worst team have been talking about?
I don't know. Goldie's voice, maybe.
Have a great day, pal. Yeah, that's something that needs some work to be in shape. I keep thinking, every time I hear that voice, I think to myself, in the smallest markets, I've worked in some teeny tiny little places, in some nooks and crannies. Albion, Michigan, Marshall, Michigan, Sturgis, Michigan. I worked in radio in those markets. I'm using the term market. Even supermarkets there are that are bigger than those places. And even in those places, would they have put someone with a voice like that on the air?
No.
Not a chance. Not a chance in hell. None. You know what I mean? Lenny Martez sounds like Walter Cronkite compared to that sound. Seriously. Robert the Grim Reaper, Robert Nine, sounds like Westbrook Van Voorhees compared to that sound. I'm serious. Two open lines at Dade, one in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. It's 4 minutes till noon at QAM.
Esa es la cingada manera cubana.
Well, I was strung out on drugs and I puked on the rug 'cause I was filled with liquor and lube. But in walked a man with a card in his hand, said I'm a friend of Bill W.
All right.
He said, hey, thin fellow with your skin turning yellow, your breath's 100 proof. Your vision's crystal clear, 'cause you're sharing a beer with a woman who's got half a tube. If she was a fool, won't you give me 12 steps? Give me 12 steps, sponsor. Give me 13, maybe more. Trying to brush something off of my shoulder. Turned out it was the floor. Won't you give me 12 steps? Give me 12 steps, sponsor. Give me 13, maybe more.
Okay.
I'm getting real tired of blowing my paycheck, then blowing 1.4. Drive me to detox.
Okay, it's 12:01 at 560 WQM, the George Rodriguez Show at 1:30. 1:30. How about 12:30? At 1:30, and then we got Hank from 2 to 6. We got Boog Shambi 6 to 10. The first 2 hours talking baseball, which I still can't figure out why, but then the last 2 hours talking other crap. And then 10 o'clock Ed Gambling for you chronic gamblers out there. Open line at Dade, 600 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a lady in Miami, not on a mobile. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi. Hey, I wanted to call you because I'm not on a mobile.
Yeah.
And I'm a lady, and you're not giving away anything today.
Mm-hmm.
And that we listen to you. We just don't always call.
Uh-huh.
And I saw a picture of Ron Jeremy yesterday.
Oh, God. Jesus
You know what? I hear you talking about him all the time. I had no idea who he was. And I've seen him in films before, but, of course. But I just didn't know who he was. That guy is disgusting.
Al Goldstein hangs around with him because then Al doesn't look so bad by comparison. He always stays right next to him.
Is Al Goldstein, he's the guy from Screw Magazine?
Right.
He was on the show also. It was this show about Heidi Fleiss last night.
Right.
It was on E! Entertainment Television.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got Heidi Fleiss, Ron Jeremy, and Al Goldstein all in one show.
Wow. Must have a widescreen TV like I do. Have a great day, sweetheart.
All right, I love you. Hey, my chef salad's on the way.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. 2 open lines at Dade 1 at Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. See, I've never been able to understand that. Why would anybody, I mean, more power to them, guys like Randy West and Ron Jeremy, but why would anybody want to see ugly people naked, much less having sex, just seeing them naked? Like that video that Al sent us with him and Ron Jeremy. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. You have never, ever felt the urge to vomit as strongly as putting that video in the VCR and looking at Ron Jeremy and Al Goldstein side by side, naked. Oh, my God.
And Al with his fake member.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, you can't see his real one.
I'm sure of that. And don't want to either. He had a fake penis?
Yes.
Al Goldstein has got a fake penis? Oh, my God.
You're looking for glory holes.
Yeah, maybe that's what he's using it for. 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Maybe we could hook him up with Tempest Storm because she used to have a fake. Here's a mobile in North Miami. Hello.
Hello, Neil. How you doing?
Okay, sir.
Just want to let you know that these people that call and complain, they really have no idea what talk show radio is about. We really appreciate you being there. And, of course, there's no fags in the church. They're in the temple.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, and have a great day. Zachariah, happy Purim. Open line at Broward, 2 and Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. How do you like that? The Imus thing the guy was talking about, which I wasn't paying much attention because, quite frankly, it's boring. But it was a bit. It was a comedy bit. It was shtick. And this guy took it seriously. I mean, how could you take anything seriously on the Amish show anyway? Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
No, it's a
Yes,
she.
ma'am.
Hi, I'm another one of your faithful police officer who listens to you every day, but I don't deny that I listen to you. Listen, all those people that complain about you and all that, they're all a bunch of liars because if they didn't like you, then why do they know everything you say on your show?
Oh, but they only listen in little bits and pieces, little dribs and drabs, and then they kind of like tie it all together.
I laugh so hard because it reminds me of, I'm a Julia. And when you go to all these doctors, and there's a whole bunch of Cuban old ladies there, right? And all they do is talk bad about the Christina show, right? But they know everything that goes on in the Christina show. So obviously they're watching it, so they should all shut up.
You bet.
But anyway, I just wanted you to know that we love you. My husband is also a police officer, and we hear you every single day.
Boy, a lot of pork in that house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and Julio to top it off.
Okay, have a great day, sweetheart.
You too.
Bye-bye. Okay, open line in Broward, 400 in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miramar. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How are you today?
Okay.
I just wanted to say I love the show, listen all the time. I wanted to agree with the guy who called before about the NBA because as far as I'm concerned, it could just have closed for the year or for next year, too. I think it's totally ridiculous.
I mean, there must be a lot of people in this country with no lives at all. I mean, who are just bored to tears, the notion that they would go out and subsidize that crap after these guys slapped them in the puss. They jerked them around, slapped them in the face, wound up almost canceling the season. They're making more money than God, and they're ready to walk out because they're not making enough. And the people come out and subsidize that? They need mental help.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. I mean, I probably in a year would go to a couple of games down there because someone gives me free tickets, and I doubt I'd even do that this year. Now with the pleasure of staying in Broward and going to the Mac Arena, the idea of going down to see the Heat all the way in downtown Miami and parking and schlepping is totally, and plus, on top of what they did, like you say, the slap in the face, and I'd just much go see the hockey or probably watch the Heat on Miami at home.
I guess there are a lot of people out there that like a good freak show. That must be it. Have a great day, pal.
Thanks, you too.
Open line in Broward, all three in Dade as we switch back and forth and try to build a little momentum here today.
No.
A little bit of something.
No.
5670560. And by the way, they're doing it behind closed doors and the deliberations too. The Senate will be doing it behind closed doors. You're not going to see and thank God, like I told the guy earlier, because then instead of posturing for the TV audience, they'll be real quick and say, that'll be it next. And by Thursday, we can have the final vote, and then we can have a party in our pants to get this over with. And that one guy that calls us all the time, that one right-wing asshole, oh, Ken Starr is God, that guy. Then what the hell is he going to do to himself? Probably. It's like when the O.J. trial ended. There were millions of people in this country who finally discovered that they had a little bit of a problem. As soon as the O.J. trial was over and no longer on television, they were all looking in the mirror saying,
I have no life.
Right. That it was like a substitute life for millions of people, including housewives in this country. Day after day after day rhymes with O.J., which just wouldn't go away as in oi, hey. 8 minutes past noon at QAM.
I have no foreskin.
All right, ladies, gather around. The band is ready. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
From the grassy course at Wimbledon to the bars where we all play, we are angry dykes who battle those who are anti-gay. Short-haired road grouse and asses, we strap on our rubber. We declare to all opponents that we will get in our licks. Our houses are all humming, our batteries are full. We make our choices early as to who will push or pull. And we say to you Republicans, some shirts with too much starch. We will gather soon in Washington for the Million Clam March.
Excuse me, soldier. Are you from Rooter or just happy to see me?
12:13 at 560 WQAM. We got a call on the board, and that's it. Deadly Tuesday. And we want some people in a building. That's what we want. People inside, in a house, in a pup tent, in a orifice, somewhere inside. You know, we talked about that before, that on this radio station, like 1,000 times more than ever on IOD, 99% of the calls are mobile calls. So I think that guy had a good point, even though he was a major asshole. I think that was a good point. Why is it that people inside do not call, not just this show, but this radio station? You listen to any of the shows on this station. Here's Joe on a mobile. Here's Schmendrick on a whatever. Nobody inside a building calls this radio station, like I said before, probably because most of them can't hear it. How about now? 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Neil?
Okay, sir.
Neil, I got 2 questions about the Panthers. What do you think's wrong with their defense? I see complete defensive breakdowns every game. and it's not being corrected.
They stunk.
My second question.
Well, what do you mean? What do I think is wrong with their defense? Well,
somewhere along the line, there's got to be something wrong because they keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again. They continually let the opposing team's offensive players behind both defensive men, and Burke can only stop so many breakaways before he starts giving them up. My second thing about the Panthers is Mellenby. What is he doing on the ice, skating around 3/4 of the time with his stick stuck up in the air and tiptoeing all over the ice? I mean, we got to have something better than him to go out there.
You mean like Kirk Muller and Johan Garpenlov? I don't understand. At least Mellenby goes out there and at times makes something happen. Muller makes nothing happen. Garpenlov makes nothing happen. This team has got too many stiffs on it. That's the problem with this team. And I told you that a year ago. Nobody wanted to hear it then. This team didn't suffer from a lack of chemistry or from being a disgruntled goalie last year. They suffered from lack of talent. And even with Pavel Bure on the team now, you take him and Dino out of the lineup last night. How many goal scorers do you have left in the game? And even with the guys that haven't been scoring lately, like Kozlov and a miracle of all miracles, Peter Worrell, guys that have been scored 4 goals last night, and they still wind up losing the game.
Right. And why did they lose the game? Because
they lost the game because they have no defense.
The defense is terrible.
They got Terry Karkner made a great play blocking a shot. I give him credit last night. He saved a sure goal. Nice goal on Terry. But other than that, man, they were pathetic. Brett Hennigan was awful. This Yaroslav Spacek, I call him Sissy Spacek, was pathetic. How this man can be playing, I have no idea. And I lay it right back at the foot of the coach. So far, with all the talk and all the hoopla, Terry Murray has shown me nothing since he's been here. Absolutely nothing.
I agree with you. 100%.
I mean, they keep bellyaching about the fact that games that they should have won, like they had 3-1 in Carolina, games that they should have won, they didn't. Hey, how can a coach put out Chris Wells 2 key face-offs? You've pulled your goalie. You're trying to tie it in the last 40, 50 seconds of the game. 2 key face-offs in the offensive end. He puts Chris Wells out to take the face-off, who hasn't played an NHL game in how long? A year and a half? And loses both face-offs, and the puck is down the ice in a heartbeat?
Well, you answered my question, and I agree with it. I think it lies with the coach, and I also think it lies with the general manager because he's letting him get away with it. And as far as listeners not hearing you in buildings, I'm in a building that I cannot get your radio station inside of. So I don't know I don't know if it's the signal or what, but I can't listen to you inside unless I'm in my car. So have a good day, Neil.
Thanks for the good news. Okay, we have an open line in Broward, all 3 in date. I'm going to talk as loud as I can. 5670560. Pound 560 on a mobile one line. They can't hear us inside the buildings. That's the wonders of being on AM, right? That's part of it. There he goes complaining again. Here's Deerfield Beach. Hello.
Hi, Neil. How you doing?
Okay, sir.
Well, I'm in a building, and I can get you. You are the only station I can pick up in this building.
Good. That's probably why you're listening.
I went out and tried the Emerald Coast the other night. And boy, was I happy.
Yeah.
I just wanted to call and thank you. I plunged like I've never plunged before.
Great place to pig out, man. Just fast for about a day or two and then go in there and go nuts.
Well, that was it, and I'm all out of material.
Okay, and have a great day. God bless you, sir. There's a guy in a building who stayed at the Emerald Coast. That's a good step in the right direction. Don't have nothing to say, but at least he's in a building. And we're the only station here. Let's move all the people in South Florida into his building. Or into some building where he could pick this damn thing up. Why am I even asking these stupid questions? I know why we don't get too many calls on this station from people inside buildings, because it's that AM death knell. And especially on a station with although I'll tell you one thing, the signal outside of town is great. All over the southern part of the state, outside of town. In town, not too good. Like on 441, we ever get that straightened out?
No.
It must be the engineer's fault again. You know what? Couldn't be Greg Reed's fault. Couldn't be the fact that these people talk a good game. Oh, well, we can go 50,000 watts. See, when he promised me all these things when he brought me over here, I should have just kept laughing. Okay, just tell me about the money. Don't make all these other promises, okay? Because it's all a bunch of bull crap. Here's Sunrise. Hello. Sunrise. How about punching the button would be good? Okay, let's try Sunrise now. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Neil,
My
I'm
mistake.
in the building. I'm in the building. I listen to you every morning.
All right.
Matter of fact, I'm in a house.
You're in a house?
Yeah.
You're in like a real house and you're listening?
All right.
You're the first one.
That's the only way I can hear you. I get in my car, I can't hear you.
Yeah. Well, you can't have it both ways. You know that old cliche, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah. Well, once I get to work, I can't hear you at work.
Yeah.
The only way I can hear you is in the house.
Well, stay home. That's my best advice.
That's the best way to do it.
And have a great day.
All right, now.
See ya. There's a man listening in a house taking a survey. How about some of the homeless people under the overpass, over the underpass? Let's hear from some of them with their transistor radios and their cell phones. Don't homeless people all have cell phones?
Yes.
Of course they do. It's the American way, baby. Everybody and their brother's got a cell phone stuck to their rear now. Even schleppers have cell phones. Even lepers have cell phones. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Look at this. Mobiles. Not that I'm complaining. We'll take all the mobiles you got. But now that guy brought it to our attention again, I think it's a very, very serious problem that our general manager ought to be doing something about. As opposed to defending the defenseless and pretending that it was the engineer's fault, the dog done it, somebody else took a dump on the floor up there. It all goes back to the top. It all goes right back to it. By the way, did it show up to work today? Huh? You don't know? Why don't you call somebody upstairs and find out? Call up.
Nobody's returning my calls.
Most of us around here don't like you.
Yeah, there you go. Here's a mobile, maybe that's the message. Mobile and Sunrise, hello.
Let me talk about Murray. I'm from Philadelphia. He's
Murray
a
DeKay?
horrible coach.
Yeah.
He has no emotion whatsoever.
You're talking about
That's why
TM
he got
now.
fired.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think that Eric Lindros hated him like poison. And by the way, even with a boring guy like Roger Nielsen, look how the Flyers are doing now, by the way.
Oh!
Huh?
First place, baby.
How do you like that?
I love it.
Haven't lost a game since before Foster Hewitt was a baby.
That's right.
Okay.
You guys,
Have a great life. Well, I just am not sold. You know, like I said, I met the guy. I gave him a chance. I didn't hold the fact that he was Brian Murray's brother against him. I met him a second time at the arena before the season started. He seemed like a reasonable guy, although he scared me with a couple of things that he said, and then I realized now I know why he scared me. And then, of course, he started getting into his big, you're going to be benched because you showed up 2 minutes late for practice, into that kind of ding-dong school he was doing. I just don't think that you can treat professional athletes like 5-year-old children and really get the most out of them. I could be wrong. I just don't think that works too well. But what I saw last night, his usage of personnel there in the end of the game, when you're desperately scrambling to tie up the game. I mean, you got Robbie, who, if nothing else, and did score a goal last night, although we fanned on. Nice pass there, Ray. But, I mean, here's a guy who wins most of his faceoffs. Does a good job. He's the best guy on the team winning the important faceoffs. Robbie, number 44. There's something he can do, okay? But does he put him in front of the net? I mean, does he put him on a faceoff?
No.
Well, he sticks him in front of the net, and his rationale would be, well, we want to get our snipers out there in front of the goal. You got to win the faceoff first, Dumbo. Chris Wells. I feel sorry for Chris Wells. I'm not going to get on that kick again, okay, now that he's back. I feel sorry for him. Because he, puts him into a situation last night, undue pressure there, in a position he shouldn't have been in the first place. Setting him up for failure. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. I want to talk to you about Burry's contract. Hello?
I'm here. I'm listening.
What's the difference between paying him $10 million or Gary Sheffield $10 million when Huizenga owned both teams? How do you justify paying him $10 million and you can't pay Gary Sheffield or somebody else the same money?
Because Gary Sheffield was a stiff and had a crappy attitude, was a piece of crap. Burry's only been here a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of paying him the money, but I just don't understand his rationale, how he can pay.
His rationale has got to be that, first of all, he's got the big new arena that was built for him. He's got the capacity to, even with the increased payroll now, to still make a hell of a lot of his money back on a hockey team. Whereas
Do you think that's going to last past this year? You think that the arena's going to be filled every game?
Not if they don't make the playoffs. I mean, we had thousands of empty seats there last night.
But he committed to a 5-year contract.
Well, so at least kiss the ground for that. Thank God we got something to look forward to. Don't look a gift horse in the butt.
No, I love it.
Okay, pal. I mean, Gary Sheffield, we all know about him.
He's an asshole.
Exactly. But see, again, it's that creative financing. Nobody really knows. How much did he make? How much did he lose? The real thing with that Marlin business, nobody will ever really know. All we know is that he doesn't own it anymore, and this guy, John Henry, owns it now. And some of the people, by the way, that are kissing his butt 1 minute, turning around the next minute saying, oh, look what they did in San Diego, how they screwed the fans over there after they got him to build a new stadium and they blew off most of the team. Now some of those people that have been kissing John Henry's ass all over the place are saying, well, we don't want to get sucked into that here, which I would agree with that last part, but I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, I realize we're in a very delicate predicament here since this is your Marlin station. Oh! Open line and Dade, 5670560 and pound 560 on the mobile one line. God, there's something in here. This is a goddamn sick building. They just had the EPA thing on 60 Minutes, Greg Reed. Why aren't you calling up somebody to do something about that instead of trying to tell us how the dog done it? Here's Bal Harbor. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Okay, sir.
Listen, I've been listening to you since I was 16 years old.
Yes.
And now I'm 27. And I was just wondering, because I know that you say you don't ever really endorse people unless, unless I'm a little nervous. Sorry about that. Unless you see something about them. And the only reason I ask you is because I was, I'm kind of like in a career crisis here.
Yeah.
I want to change, careers. And I was just wondering, you do an ad for Fast Train.
Right.
Do you know if that's any good? I mean, do you know if anybody actually has graduated and made any money after they graduated?
Of course. Anybody's ever graduated. This isn't like one of those phony broadcasts.
Yeah, I was thinking that's like ATI kind of, crap and all that. I was thinking, no, I would never do. But since I heard you say something about it, I'm just curious because,
right.
I know you don't endorse something unless you believe in it.
Right.
Okay.
1-877-98 train.
I wrote it down a long time ago. And Neil.
Yeah.
I work in Bell Harbor, and I can't get you in my building, but my coworkers hate me because I still leave the static and I still listen to you anyways.
Boy. Thanks for the good news. Good luck. See ya. Okay, 2 open lines in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Got an hour to go here. I think I'll make it. Then I'm going back to the doctor again. I'm just, something, I may just go to the doctor every day. Seriously, I may take off like a half hour and go to the doctor every day, not necessarily the same doctor, just to a different doctor every day until I get rid of this. The rash is a little bit better, and I'm feeling like right now better than I was about 9:30, but it comes and it goes and it's here and it's there, and I got other stuff that's starting that wasn't there before. It gets real old, and talk about old and stale. It gets ancient. How about somebody that says, here's what it is, here's what we're going to do about it, how about even this? Okay, put you out of your misery, something. 1226 at 560 QAM.
Ray Whitney has a pair. All right, ladies, gather around.
Did I just play that? Sorry about that. Well, I'm like having a conversation here with George about other stuff, and I'm not paying any attention. In case, have you noticed that I'm not paying any attention?
Yes.
I'm really not, because we're preoccupied with the other stuff that's going on around here. With some of the strange things that are going on upstairs where they're hiring
all of these things
from off the street. But I guess some of these things, maybe he just couldn't find a different sport jacket. We have an open line at Dade, 5670560. Or maybe it just wasn't that day. 5670560 and pound 560 on a mobile one line. I mean, seriously, you have to be mentally deficient to say to some of these people that wander into this building. I mean, how is it possible? Unless they're just doing it out of spite. Here's a mobile in Port St. Lucie. Hello. Mobile in Port St. Lucie. Going once. Going twice. Nice hearing from you. Open line at Dade, 1 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Let's hear that again.
All right, ladies.
Okay, thank you. Here's Tampa. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Listening in a building.
In a building in Tampa, but on the audio net.
You got it.
Okay.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Maybe some of the local people better fire up their computers. At least they can hear us inside on the audio net.
Yeah, they wouldn't have to worry about radio reception then, would they?
Right.
But, and as far as the people down there think that hockey is a problem, it's terminal here beyond all belief.
Yes. Well, it's because you have no team.
No team, no
talent.
talent.
Crowds left, right.
And we are a bastion of castaways.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just waiting to pick up somebody else's garbage.
Yeah.
And I guess that's all I had to say.
Well, you got that Stefan Richer.
That damn faggot can't stand up.
Yeah. 1 minute he's with the team, the next minute he's not. So,
Yeah, well, maybe you'll find a boyfriend out of town.
Well, the talk is they're trying to get rid of a top player to pick up some backup goalie from Dallas, Turek or something.
Yeah.
And they want to cough up, who they want to cough up? I don't know. They'll probably be stupid and give up
At this
Lecavalier or
point,
something.
it doesn't really make any difference. At this point, they're going to have to disband. They're going to have to trade away Wendell Clark and Rob Zaminer. Anybody that they've got that anybody wants, they're going to have to go back to the youth movement. It's going to be another 4 or 5 years before they put that franchise back together again.
Fat Phil really messed it up.
And the worst news, by the way, that I'm reading is that Phil Esposito's got a group now. They want to come back and buy the team.
Well, Art Williams is supposedly looking for an equity partner because I guess he got it a little over his head too.
Yeah.
But
the last thing you want back is Phil Esposito, sir.
Oh, without a doubt. Fat Phil is the reason why we are as horrible as we are today.
Yeah. Well, good luck, pal.
Thank you, sir.
You guys will need it.
All right.
Okay, poor Tampa Bay. You know, we usually don't sympathize with those poor bastards over there too much, but wow. Do you think we got problems here? Poor Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Lightning, whatever, lightweights.
Tampa.
Exactly. Open line today at 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Here's Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm out here from California, and I'm listening to you yesterday, driving down 95. I take the 595, and before the split, 5 lanes in one direction.
Yeah.
The woman in front of me starts slowing down real fast. I'm going 65.
She starts slowing down real fast?
Or
speeding up real slow? Yeah.
30. And I'm hitting the brakes. Next thing, she swerves out of the way, and I'm facing a pickup truck going the wrong way at me.
Uh-huh.
I hit the brakes, swerve, just missed this guy, and I look, and he's sitting there. The truck is still. He's sitting in the truck, staring straight ahead, going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Scared the living.
Second
thing.
Well, welcome to Florida.
Yeah. Second thing. I don't know. Did anyone mention the Lawrence Taylor sideline thing that Bimbo did at the Pro Bowl game Sunday?
No.
Probably not. Probably because nobody watched the Pro Bowl. Not if they had a brain or a life.
Fortunately.
How could anybody watch the Pro Bowl?
Well,
these are guys that never want to give up. And somebody should tell them, guess what? The Super Bowl, it's all over after that point. Nobody cares anymore. But they just insist. They just got just one more game, please. Just one more.
Well, check this out. After this little sideline with Taylor, Al and Dan are going, oh, yeah, another guy, I met him off the field, and they asked Boomer, hey, have you ever met that guy? He said, I couldn't understand a word he was saying in that interview.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it was gibberish.
Yeah.
I mean, he was still on the crack stuff. Too bad.
Okay, thanks for the good news. And like I said, welcome to Florida. So what was he saying? Oh, that wasn't it. What the hell was he saying?
Oh, man.
My finger's all over the place right now. I'm just having a little bit of a problem. Well, it's old and stale. 2 open lines in Dade, 1 in Broward. 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. Anybody inside a building somewhere going to talk to us today, huh? Anybody?
No.
Anybody can hear us?
No.
Inside a building?
No.
See, I shouldn't be doing that because 99% of the calls we get are on mobiles. Now we'll scare the damn mobile people away. Do we want to do that?
No.
God forbid we should do that. Be out of business. So mind your own business, okay, punk, with your mobile crap. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello, Neil.
Yes.
I'm at my house, and I can even hear you in my class at college.
Oh my God.
So, hey, I can hear you perfectly.
Boy, what more could you want in life?
Just a couple of quick things. I know you say there's fags in the church, and I believe you 100%. I went to a Catholic high school in Hollywood, and it was run by the brothers, the Marianist brothers.
Yeah.
They're the biggest bunch of homos I've ever seen.
Catholic church is the only place where the brothers and the sisters are the same people.
Yeah, they're the biggest bunch of homos I've ever seen.
Right.
And I know why the Macarena is so loud.
There's no fags in the church.
Yeah.
You say there's nobody alive in Sunrise. I believe you. I think they're trying to wake the dead.
It ain't working, pal. If you ever drove in Sunrise Lakes, believe me, it's not working.
There's nobody alive there.
Yeah.
Can I call somebody a douchebag?
Yes.
John Roberts, you're a douchebag.
Okay, pal.
Thank you.
See you in Sunrise Lakes where even the old people.
Boy.
Wow. You ever drive through there? There's that thing called Sunrise Lakes Boulevard, Oh, boy. Wow. Hey, our friend from California that called a couple of calls ago, now that we've indoctrinated and initiated you with South Florida driving, now really take your life in your hands. Start out right now, drive over to Hallandale Beach Boulevard, drive east over to the beach, then turn around and go back once you're through all that construction in about 3 hours, and then go back over and drive up north to Sunrise. And try your luck at Sunrise Lakes Boulevard. Try your luck weaving your way through that road there that goes through the whole complex. And if you survive that, call us tomorrow. Sunrise Lakes, the only state in America where dead people still have a driver's license and are still driving around.
Yes.
The worst. But hey, there he goes again. It's old and stale. See, it's not me that's old and stale. It's the population here that's old and stale. You can smell them 50 miles away. It's either the goddamn navel lint or the colostomy bags running over, one or the other, or both. I mean, stop. I shouldn't. It's old and stale. You're right. No, seriously, when I drive around here and you look to your left and you look to your right, you're looking at the other people that are out there driving on the road, because I look around and I think to myself, okay, how many of these people could possibly listen to my show? You know what I'm saying? How many of these people could I possibly be reaching? And I look around and I see so many bizarre, like of undetermined origin. I don't even know if I can put my finger on it, and I certainly wouldn't want to. I just can't describe Where did they come from? What are they? What is their story? Do they have a story? And then about every 100th car, somebody, hey, Neil, somebody give me the thumbs up or flip me the bird with something. Hey, great. And then the next 99 cars again, it's that same. And I keep wondering, where in God's name do
all of these things
come from? 21 till 1 at 560 WQAM.
I want to bang you in the butt, honey. All right.
Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle when he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind.
Will you fudge back him?
Well, he don't know where a stogie goes. I can see how there was some confusion between humidor and humid whore. And in Arkansas, the term cedar box means saw her naked. Stars report can lead to going blind.
Me so horny.
Now Clinton, he was working hard, late nights in the ovary office, working on a practical joke. He took a Macanudo, put an exploding load in. Poor Monica was blowing rings of smoke. Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle every time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Oh, people feel that Hillary's been made a fool of by her husband. Feel that Hillary was wronged. Up in the Lincoln bedroom, she was moaning, moaning. Al Gore was doing her with Bill's old bong.
All right.
Bill cigars in Monica's vagina. She lets out a giggle every friggin' time he makes it wiggle. Monica is not the kind you can do in the behind, but a cigar in her vagina she don't mind. Oh, Candy and Sandy, yeah, Judge Master is faster. Oh, yeah. What you gotta do is take a Tipperillo and put it in a frill. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, now a cigar and oh, yeah.
1246 at 560 WQAM. So, you know who we haven't heard anything about in a long time? Is she still on the air? Do we know?
No.
Do we have any idea?
No.
She is still on the air.
Yes.
But you notice there's like, Rick and Suds, like a guy before made a comment about Rick and Suds, which I would listen to them, but I don't want to hear Rick talking about the stock market, please. But do we ever get any comment on... No.
She's been talking about cookies a lot lately.
As in eating them? Also? Talking about fat people blowing up like a balloon? Oh, and by the way, speaking of over there, guess who's doing the news on the Rick and Suds show in the morning? One of your favorite people.
John Ford?
Yeah.
I heard it.
You lose, John. Goes from the morning show host to the morning news guy. Wow, nice going, Pete Bolger. Oh! He's got an ass for talent, that Pete, doesn't he? Here's Miami. Hello.
Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Sorry to caught you by surprise. I called you last week. I told you it was my birthday. I was going to Outback, and I
You're out who?
I went to Outback Steakhouse.
Yeah.
and I mentioned Chocolate Thunder from Down Under, and you made all those diarrhea sounds, which I thought was really funny, but it wasn't funny when it went into practice. After finishing it, after 10 minutes after finishing the dessert, I was on the road going to Aventura, and there was a Chocolate Thunder from Down Under. You better believe it. I was dying. And finally, you know.
Well, I mean, did you actually release it, or just?
No, no. It was rumbling. It was. It was pushing and squeezing to get out.
Yeah, we've all had the rumbling, but only a very few select of us actually done the deed.
Oh, no, not at
all. Right in the pantaloonies.
No.
Well, no, I mean, seriously, when your options become limited, okay? I mean, it's nature. It's something that we can't control. The Lord works in mysterious ways. When your options are, when you've run out of options, there you go. Like the dentist said, open wide.
Well, not in the car. Well, finally, I managed to find a bathroom, and as I was sitting on the
fast food joints, thank God we got so many. That's the only thing they're good for is those tea rooms.
Absolutely. And I was saying, I must have angered the Neil gods because he was exactly right. And now I know why they call it Chocolate Thunder from Down Under. Yeah. But being a complete moron, I'd probably do it again because I'm a glutton for punishment.
But didn't you read what it says on the menu at the Outback? Under Chocolate Thunder from Down Under, it says, it'll make you
Absolutely. The other quick thing, Neil, is the thing about the swingers room.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of old people that are ticked off for two reasons. Number one, they're
not getting any. Yeah.
Absolutely. And number two, they're completely, and I know they're completely bored. And it's not. You can take boredom to such an extreme that you ruin other people's lives.
Right.
When there's nothing to do.
It's like the woman I was telling this story about her dog behind me at the hockey game last night, and again, it was irritating because she was talking so loud, and the story wasn't all that exciting, but I do sympathize with her because she's evidently got a neighbor who's a yenta and looking to create a problem.
I mean, it's a private club. They're not hurting anybody. Leave them alone. That's it's just annoying. But hey, I won't.
You got to understand though, with old people down here, most of them have got nothing to do.
Absolutely.
So they take. I don't want to mention my mother, but they take little minute things and they magnify them into big crises and a big song and a dance. Oh, I'm losing sleep over this, and I don't know what I'm going to do. And you narrow it down to such a minuscule thing.
You have to occupy them. You have to make them. I don't know, get on the computer or something. Have them do some. Have them think they have some purpose in life. Because if they don't,
you start hearing these things from people like your mother, the more the terms nursing home start entering your mind real rapidly. You understand? Nursing home. I keep saying that to myself over and over again. Have a great day,
Thanks,
pal.
buddy.
And don't do this again. You have an open line. Doesn't that sound interesting? Nursing home, of course, some of them can be pretty expensive, but then there's probably some, like real low rent district kinds that are real inexpensive. Kind of like,
where they abuse the people.
Like the Cuckoo's Nest, yeah. Where the Jack Nicholsons of the world are like hanging out, Mr. McMurphy. Because, all I have to do is hear one more time about that codicil to my will and about my mother's condo that I bought for her and about how she's losing sleep at night and the itching and scratching because her nerves. See, if I had nothing going on in my life at all and I had all day and that was the worst, the most important thing I had on my mind, I'd feel like life was great. If that was the most impressing matter on my mind is when am I going to get a sheet of paper that she knows is already done with anyway. But to use it as an excuse, it's creating something to occupy to make something out of when there's not too much there. Nursing home. Okay, we have an open line at date, 5670560, pound 560 on a mobile one line. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Yo.
Yes, sir.
Question, Neil. Okay, the guy called before about he was trying to change his career or whatever, and you mentioned something about broadcasting schools. Are they really a scam, really, straight up?
Most of them, yeah.
Really? Okay.
I think, in fact, they probably would take Geldy in a broadcasting school, so what does that tell you? Most of them are full of crap.
The 560 broadcasting.
Exactly.
There you go. All right, that's all I had. Oh, can I call somebody a douchebag?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Kid Curry and his ex-wife, Anna Asquith, you're douchebags.
Okay. And I still can't envision them doing it, I mean, there's a lot of people we can't envision doing much of anything, but those two, I'm sorry. She just had gigantic hooters from what he said, and a big shapely rectum, too, is what he told us. Open line at date 1 in Broward, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile one line. That's why the Anglo guys like the Cuban chicks, because they got a big shapely rectum. Here's Sunrise. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Two things. First of all, Sunrise Lakes.
Yes.
The problem is not that they can drive. The problem is that more of them than can drive vote. Oi!
Yeah.
So, I mean, you want a problem. We need to go to districts in this county, and we need to diminish the influence of those cryptominium dweller.
How about that term nursing home, though, comes in handy again. It starts popping into my head as soon as you mention Sunrise Lakes. I think of a big nursing home. Sounds better.
It's true. Second of all, there's an article in the business section of today's paper you probably like.
Yes?
Huizenga offers academics some secrets of his success.
Oi!
And they've got a quote they pulled out of it on the
How to
jump
rip off
page.
the public without even really trying hard?
Focus on firm, hire good people, entrepreneur says.
Uh-huh.
All I want to know is...
Does it have the long list of all the Jews that work for Wayne, by the way?
What I want to know is, what euphemism for enforcement did he use? I mean, what do you call a torpedo in a modern corporation?
Yeah.
So, you got to have people persuaded to buy your product.
Okay, have a great day, pal. You're getting a little bit too emotional about it. We have an open line in Broward 2 and Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the mobile line. You're getting all antsy about Joe Costello. I can see that. He'll be here.
He called.
What's wrong with you? I mean, got to be here 1:30. What do you want? To come in here a quarter of and hold your hand for 45 minutes? Now you're like my mother again. Nursing home for Cuban producers.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Happy pills.
Yeah. That'll put you to sleep for a long time. Kind of like the shots that Holly's getting there on Guiding Light. Oh, here's another shot. Of course, she got out. Everybody always gets out. Then they're lurking, Everybody's lurking out there. All the evil people are lurking. Alan Spaulding is lurking. How's Hart doing, by the way? Did he, make a comeback? I must have missed that. It's the only show in America. Oh, look what we got here. Speaking of making a comeback. Happy Purim.
That's why I called.
Where have you been?
Cockaloon. Yeah, right here, sitting on my,
Fanny.
I don't know what.
Sitting on your fat fanny.
What's going on between your mother and you?
What do you mean by that?
With all the aches and pains and scratching and what?
Maybe it's sympathetic scratching. She knows I have this rash, even though it doesn't itch, but maybe she's doing it out of sympathy. She just got to have something to kvetch about. What's a Jewish mother without having something to kvetch about?
Well, thank God I'm too busy
well,
to
good
work.
for you. So you should call my mother and tell her to get,
Well,
some activities.
give me her number. I'll call.
She'd love talking to you.
Yeah. I would like to call her. Happy Purim.
Yeah, if you
Yes.
tell her that.
And Passover is March 31st, first Seder.
Well, let's take one at a time, okay? Let's
All right,
deal with the Hamantaschen first.
So Purim, you got to get your Hamantaschen. Happy Purim.
Right.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really distraught, by the way, that we haven't seen our good, close personal friends from that Pastry Lane bakery yet with our real, the Emmis, the real Hamantaschen.
Right, yeah.
Don't ever eat those little hard ones.
No. It's very hard to get the large ones either.
Yeah.
And my nephew's coming Sunday from New York, but he's bringing bagels.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
That'll kill you.
he brings a whole bag, big one, large bagels. They're terrific. Other than that, I'm doing all right, thank God. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
And
Zach,
no complaints. I just hope they get the president and that other hooses off the air.
2 more days, we'll be over this crap. Then we can come up with something new, We can come up with the Tony and Martin trial or something new and exciting.
So you're going to the doctor again now?
I'm going in half an hour. I'm going to get in my car. I'm going to go out up there. I'm going to tell him, look, do something, goddammit. What was I going to do? What was I going to do? What was I going to do? Well, all I can say is...
Thanks for calling.
Oh! She said, don't take any bull from him, but she didn't say she said it. The other guy was trying to take one, and she said it. Happy Purim, sweetheart. Don't do it again. Oh, that was choice. 12:57 at 560 QA.
It's not just the 1 to 2 hour. It's a phenomenon.
It's National Baked Bean Month, and we're asking, what do you like about baked beans?
They taste great.
They're nutritious. They make me fart a lot. Baked beans. They're delicious, nutritious, and they make you fart a lot.
Yeah, I serve baked beans at all my parties because nothing breaks the ice like breaking wind.
I'm going to do a really big one here. Listen.
I like to eat a whole mess of beans and then say the dog did it.
Here it comes.
Baked beans make bubbles in the bathtub.
Ready? Here, give me the microphone.
Beans make us fart.
Lots of baked beans during National Baked Bean Month.
Oh, it's going to be big.
This message brought to you by the National Baked Bean Council.
Oh, false alarm.
Okay, it's 102 at 560 WQM. Boy, I'm going to start doing this every day. I think you want to do 1:30 to 2 every day, and then it'll be like 1 to 2, and then like 11:30 to 2. For the same pay, of course. We have an open line at day 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's North Miami. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I heard a couple of people today say they can't pick up your station inside their buildings at work. I came across a device in a communications radio catalog that's a retransmitter for under $45. You put it near a window with your AM radio that will pick up your station. It retransmits it in FM within a 150-foot radius. Anybody in the building can then pick it up on their FM radio, even a little portable radio.
On their FM radio? Well, where does it pop up? I don't understand.
It plugs into the earphone jack of an AM radio, like a GE Super Radio.
Yeah.
You put by the window.
Mm-hmm.
Then it takes that signal and retransmits it on FM to a blank spot on the dial where you select it. Then it transmits it all over the building to a 150-foot radius, and anybody can pick it up.
How about that?
And it's less than $45. It's a C. Crane company. I could give you their number or send you a catalog. You can look it over.
Why don't you send that to me? It'd be great.
Okay, I'll do that because you get a lot more listeners that way.
Great.
We'll do it.
Hang on, Jordan. You got the address?
Yeah, I got it right here. I got the catalog in my hand.
But you have our address?
No, that's what I need.
Okay, hang on. George will give it to you. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Okay, take care of him. We might actually get 1 or 2 more listeners, although I doubt it. 2 open lines in Broward, 1 in Dade, 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Here's a mobile in Miami. Hello.
Yeah, hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I listen to your show because I ride around a lot in the car. I do sales for my firm, and, the reason if I was in the office I wouldn't be able to call in is because, I'd have other calls or things to do. So I think the guy who was asking why are they all cellulars, when you've got to wait 45 minutes, you kind of have to, I'm a captive audience, and I select listening to you. I tried listening to Dr. Laura sometimes, but she just screws too many people up, and, it's not worth listening to.
Mm-hmm.
But I you can only carry so many CDs in the car, and after a while you like adult conversation and smart talk and whatnot. So I listen to you, and occasionally I listen to the guys preceding you. Not so much because I normally don't get out of the office at that time. But I think that's why a lot of the calls are mobile. I don't think it really has to do with the reception because I listen to your station when I'm in the office. It's just I unfortunately have other tasks to do. But I wanted to tell you about this billboard I just saw in Hialeah.
Yeah.
It said, and I'm paraphrasing it because I didn't write it down, but it says something like, with ticket prices up, crowd noise should go down. Can you feel it? I mean, something like the parody on the Can You Feel the Heat ad.
Mm-hmm.
So you might find that interesting in your comments on the NBA season.
Okay, and have a great life.
All righty, Neil.
See you. What do you say? Okay, 1 call left on the board. That's not going to last till 1:30, is it?
No.
That's not going to do it. 5670560, pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Let's go. Let's get on a goddamn switch here, okay? There are all these important things going on. The Senate chaplain is doing a prayer now.
To do.
Get him off this ridiculous nonsense. And he goes on and on and on. And Jesus' name and Baruch Atah and all this silly old crap. The Senate chaplain, he's talking to China. The bad thing that happened was that guy, you see that guy, as a pedestrian, got killed. The, whatever they call him, the clerk that used to read the roll. Senator By, I. He was great. Everybody knew his, he was great. Even people who are totally politically illiterate knew that guy's voice. Senator Kennedy. And he and his wife crossing the street on Sunday, and all of a sudden, dead. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hello, Nels.
Yes, sir.
The guy said he listened to Dr. Laura. What's the matter with that guy? Anyways.
Maybe he's a masochist. Maybe he likes hearing some nasty bitch chew men out.
Listen, Neil, if you will, I wanted to kind of do a little Godfather talk here.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how good is your Italian? Because there's this one scene, like, in Godfather 1, the big wedding scene at the beginning.
Yeah.
Where they're singing like that traditional Italian
something
song.
Dirty, yeah. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Something really dirty.
Yeah, I was watching it the other day.
You know by the hand gestures that it's something really dirty.
Yeah, it looked like he was dipping into something.
Yeah, right.
Man, that movie's really, who's really great in that movie? I don't know the actor's name.
Yeah.
He plays the movie guy. What's his name? The big producer, director.
Jack Walsh.
Jack Walsh.
Yeah, Jack Walsh.
That guy is so hilarious. I had forgotten. A few parts in the movie, he's so great. There's one part I want to kind of play for you, and maybe you might want to consider having as a card, because I think this is great. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't care how many Dago, Guinea, Wop, Creek, Ball, Goombas come out of the woodwork.
I'm German-Irish. Well, let me tell you something, my cross-mixed friend.
How great is that?
Outstanding. That's the best.
All right, Uncle Neil.
Have a great day. I'll see you in Horseheads, New York, by the way. We're going to be doing our show remote from there. If you don't know no Godfather, baby, you got a lot in common with Frankie Pentangeli, whose brother happened to stop in for the weekend. We have an open line at Broward, 2 and Dade. 567 ads between the brothers. 567-0560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Because a man in my position can afford to be made to look. Here's Oakland Park. Hello. No, what?
You didn't press the button.
I put my finger on it. How about on the button? Oakland Park. Hello.
Neil.
I've got a weak finger today. Yes, sir.
Here it is. The reason that you think everybody is on mobiles. You ready for this?
Yes.
Because when you call, George makes it sound like that if you're on a mobile, you're going to get through quicker.
He does?
Yes, because he says...
Why is that? We're paying for it on most
I know, but the thing is, the phones go dead when you're on a mobile, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, if you're on a mobile for a long time on hold, your battery's going to go dead if you don't have a real good situation.
It is?
Of course.
Well, how come you don't have...
I've been on hold a lot of times.
How come you don't put your cell phone, plug it into the cigar? How come you don't have one of those adapters? It'll never go dead.
Cigar?
Huh?
You can plug your cell phone into a cigar.
Into a cigar lighter, into the cigarette lighter.
Oh, okay.
Plug yourself into a cigar, like Monica, plug your cigar, that's it. Get with it, pal. He doesn't get it. He's not putting his cigar in Monica's, in Uranus. We have an open line in Dade, 1 in Broward. Would you make a cell call from your car without having a thing plugged in with the adapter?
No, the adapter's in the glove box.
Right.
If the battery's weak, plug it in.
Even if the battery's not weak, I mean, at least that way you know you're not going to get call us, interrupt us. Don't you think, if you can afford even a schlepper like you, if you can afford a cell phone, you can afford an adapter that sticks the cigar in your rectum and the phone jack into your lighter thing. Just stick it in the socket, man, and the phone too. They're a little slow.
This is the most disgusting program. I urge everyone to complain to this station.
Do you like chili? Really hot chili? Then you should try O'Malley's new really f***ing hot chili. That's right, O'Malley's new really f***ing hot chili is so hot it's guaranteed to burn the roof of your f***ing mouth or your money back. Made from the hottest jalapenos, spices, and peppers. After just one bite, you'll say, wow, that's the hottest f***ing chili I've ever tasted. That's O'Malley's new really f***ing hot chili. From the makers of goddamn good chowder and ass-kicking soup. Pick some up at your f***ing grocer today. Remember, if it's not O'Malley's, it's not that f***ing hot.
114 at 560 WQM. So anyway, if you got your TV on and you're watching CNN and you got the sound down like I do, don't get sucked in here, okay? Because they need 67 votes. They're voting now on whether to open the deliberations or not. They need 67 votes going aye. They need 67 times. And are they going to get it?
No.
In fact, it's interesting. 25 yes and 21 no so far. 19 Democrats are voting and only 1 no.
No.
But Republicans, 7 are voting and 21
No.
Okay. So for some strange reason, the Republicans don't want to open the deliberations, but the Democrats do. I just mentioned that in passing. Like I told the guy before, I'm delighted that they're not going to do it because this will shorten it up in a hurry. They'll be real brief and get to the point because they won't be able to posture to the TV viewing public. But nevertheless, it does strike me as very peculiar that the Republicans are voting, almost all of them, and the Democrats are voting, let's open it up and let the people hear what we got to say. 32-22, very soon they'll have the 34 necessary to make sure that it don't pass. Here's a lady mobile in Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hi there, Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
How are ya?
Great.
First time, long time.
Okay. Okay, great. Well, we'll give her the number for thanks for calling, lady, and they can say to each other all day, huh? Wow. Great. Thank you, sweetheart. Thanks for sharing that with us. 2 open lines at Dade, 2 in Broward, 5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T wireless line. Thank you so much. Here's a mobile in Fort Myers. Hello.
Yeah, Neil.
Yes, sir.
A lot of these Republicans said that if Clinton was in the military, that he'd be court-martialed for adultery, right?
Yeah.
But I served in the military. I'm telling you that like 90% of the people cheated on their wives or husbands when we went overseas, like Philippines and stuff like that.
Of course.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
There were a lot of guys doing each other on a ship, too, in the naval.
I don't know about that.
They were doing each other in the naval, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Right on. All right, bye.
Okay. He started out very enthusiastic, and then by the time we got to the end, to the call, it was like kind of a different, he was singing a different tune. They're doing it, baby, okay? They're doing it. I hate to break the news to you, okay? There's different meanings for that expression, naval attack. I know that comes as a great shock to all you macho military guys out there. Oh, no, yeah, okay. Because anybody with a brain knows that there's
no facts in the
military. We know that. One call left on the board for 13 minutes here. That's not going to fly, is it?
No.
5670560 and pound 560 on the AT&T line. See, they won't call me and talk about that swinging thing because they know you're going to talk about it now. Just like this last guy. They don't want to talk to some fag about heterosexual couples doing each other.
Yeah, what do you know?
A lot. Here's a mobile in Coral Springs. Hello.
Hey, first-time caller, long-time carpet muncher. How's
Yes,
it going?
sir. Okay.
Neil,
Yeah.
you're my hero, man.
Yeah.
You're my dreams. I had a dream with you in it, man.
Uh-huh.
You were touching me.
Yeah. That was
Yeah,
a dream.
the private part.
Uh-huh. That was a nightmare for me.
Yeah. And you've never seen me before. How can you know that's a nightmare?
Okay, let's go to a mobile in Hialeah. Sounds like wishful thinking to me, sir. Mobile in Hialeah. Hello.
Uncle Neely.
Yes, sir.
Hey, two things. George doesn't make it sound like you're going to get on quick with a mobile. I'm on a mobile on my dime. I don't have the freebie connection.
Yeah.
And secondly,
Well, anybody that's on a mobile on their dime should be pushed to the top of the list, shouldn't they, George? If they're on a mobile on their
They
dime?
all lie and say they're on their own dime.
Oh, like I said, we don't believe you.
yeah, you don't have a line that designates where it's coming in on, the freebie or not?
No. Hey, listen, we're lucky we even got a phone here, okay? I mean, seriously, this company is so goddamn cheap. We're lucky we even got a phone that works some days.
The second thing is, I did get through quick, but I used to call at work when I was in the office. When you had a board full of calls, I could only sit by the phone on hold for so long before I'd get sidetracked or have to do something else,
Right.
or take another call. What's the average wait on a phone call? I'm sure you have a number there, like what, 15, 20
Not
minutes?
a lot today. In fact, let's see. You waited, what does that say? 11
I waited
seconds.
about 30 seconds.
11 seconds.
Yeah, not even that.
How do you like that? It's
Well, I heard
no
you
waiting
say.
Tuesday.
Yeah, I heard you say one call on the board, so I
Mhm.
figured it was my chance to get my 2 cents in. But that's what's up with work.
Okay, and thanks for your 2 cents.
Thanks, Neil.
Have a great day. He gave us his 2 cents. By the way, they're not going to open the deliberations. It's 58 yes and 39 no. 58
Yes.
and 39
No.
And that means once they got to 34, they couldn't get the 2 thirds. So if you can't have 2 thirds, why open it up? They're not going to open deliberations. They're going to do it behind closed doors because everybody with a brain knows that's
the American fucking way.
That's right, behind closed doors, because many of them are too embarrassed. It's interesting. The ones that are voting no, the 40 Republicans and the 1 Democrat who voted
No.
are, they want to do it behind closed doors because they're too goddamn embarrassed to go public and tell us what they think. I guess they can read those poll numbers too, huh? Here's Miami. Hello. Miami.
Neil, how you doing?
Great.
I'm reading that book, Pros and Cons. I wanted to ask you, I'm not asking, I wanted to mention something to you.
Tony Martin isn't in there yet.
Part 2. You know the judge who said that she was ill and had to be replaced when she was going to sentence the wide receiver for Kansas City?
Right.
You know why she was fated ill? I heard that there was a cover-up about that.
I'm listening.
Kansas City offered her a blank check.
Yeah.
And the judge that replaced her was at one time the personal lawyer for the Kansas City organization.
All right. Great.
I heard about that, and I figured I'd fill you in with
She
that.
probably went on to move to work for the International Olympic Committee.
For Utah.
Right.
Take it easy, buddy.
And have a great day. It's close by at the IOC. Open line in Dade 1 in Broward. That's what George is going to be talking about, scandals in the IOC. 567. What? What are you shaking your head about? Scandals with the Olympic Committee. Don't you understand? The men are women, the women are men. They're all on steroids. There are all these payoffs. And isn't it interesting now that there's all this alleged outrage about Salt Lake City and those crooked Mormons over there, that now it's coming to light in Toronto and other cities all over the world. This has been going on for years. They've been putting the squeeze on these guys. They want their hookers. They want their payoffs. They want their meals. They want their booze. They want to, you smear us, we'll smear your back. Because that's the way the corrupt world that we live in operates. I hate to break the news to you, Virginia. There is no Santa Claus. There is no God. But yes, there's a lot of corruption out there, a lot of smearing going on. They're smearing it. Here's Lauderhill. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I've listened to you for 22 years. Listen, don't let the doctors go near you. Let me tell you what happened to me.
I'll stay on the other side of the room and I'll just talk.
And let me tell you something. I called you about 2 weeks ago. I still have ice on my testicles. I went over
You
there
still
to
have
the
what?
doctor. Yeah, on my testicles. I've
Yeah.
been carrying ice around.
You have ice on your testicles?
Yeah, because they gave me 10 stitches. They said I had something there, and they took it out. But before that, they told me I had a hernia. I had a hernia operation. They took that out. I had the same pain. Now I go to this doctor. They did the operation on my testicles, put the ice on it. Now they're sending me for CAT scans, and now they're sending me for what's that other thing? A bone scan.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God, is right. There are a bunch of assholes, man. Don't let them go near you, man.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye.
Wow, did he say he's got ice on his nuts? Is that what he said?
Uh-huh.
Open line at Broward, 5670560. Pound, wasn't that a Joey Reynolds song, Ice in My Nuts? Oh, Rats in My Room. Here's the mobile in Hollywood. Hello.
Screw Congress. Bring back little Tommy Dunnenberg.
You know something?
He is still the world's biggest asshole.
All right.
Tom Dunnenberg. Tom Dunnenberg. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, you should have heard, by the way, Henry from IOD tell me last night the stories about Fat Boy and the stuff that he pulled over there and why they were so anxious to get him out of there. And he thinks that, what's the guy, Andy Scourge? One of the 20 sales managers they got over there at the Career Channel. He thinks that he was desperate to get him out of there under any circumstances. And so they played a little bit of a trick on us, boys and girls. Yeah. They said, hey, Screw Ann Winnick, how'd you like to screw up your sales department? Here's a real great guy, huh? Real tons of fun. As long as I live, I'll never forget the day that he came waddling through that door. Oh, man. It felt like a goddamn earthquake. You could feel the earth move under your meat.
Where do you find Ed Kaplan? Right where you got it. Sports Radio 560 QAM.
My vagina really gets my panties in a wad.
George Jorge Rodriguez, big producer guy. He's uncircumcised. George Jorge Rodriguez, cryptic son of a bitch. Don't give him no shit. Take the boss like me, he's got a great deal, free food and a brand new set of wheels. If you got the balls to give him a call, just remember that he won't take your crap. He's George Jorge Rodriguez, clean as he can be. You won't find no cheese, don't give him no.
QAM, what do you want?
George Jorge Rodriguez, cryptic son of a bitch.
128 on 560 WQAM. I didn't want to play that. He loaded that in there. I had other things I wanted to do, like the Speed Racer thing that we never got a chance to get to. When the hell was that? I don't even remember.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, I found this Speed Racer thing by the Alpha Team that I found one of these CDs that they were going to throw out here. Some radio station somewhere had to play that, so we'll play that after the next break.
It's more appropriate today.
It is more appropriate today because I want to talk about this, the swing bus thing. All day long, people off the air were calling up, telling me stories off the air about this, that people who were there at the time, people who had been there, who had frequented this place, Trapeze. Did you see any of it on the news?
Yes, I did.
Very plush, very nice.
Fantastic.
With
beautiful
the
dance floor.
ferns and beautiful dance floor, lights, plants, everything very plush. And I had occasion to go to one place, and I was going to talk to the owner of the place that I visited on a couple of occasions. Once when we were over at IOD, because when they had the Sex Talk show going on over there with Aaron Summers, they used to go, the producer would hook up radio station employees, and they would all go, and I went on one of those occasions with all of the radio station people. We just observed. You know that. A lot of people go there to observe, and that was us. And yes, I went with the wife, took the wife, very, very up and up. We're not swingers yet. I say that because, I'm all for it. I'm rip-raring to go because, us men, we're men. We want it. We want it all. She's a little bit sheepish. I'm scary. I can talk brave, but while I'm there, the thought scares the hell out of me about taking my clothes off in front of a whole bunch of other people. The thought scares me. So obviously I wasn't drunk enough, and neither was she, because she kept saying, none of these guys here are good looking enough. And I kept saying, have another drink, hon, and they'll get better looking right away. So we went again to this other place, and the reason I keep referring to this other place as another place is because I talked to the owner today. I was going to have him on the phone for this little George half hour, talk to this owner of this other place where people go to have fun, and he didn't want the place mentioned, the name mentioned. They're on the phone with lawyers all day long, got everybody crapping their pants, and people calling off the air all day long that didn't want to go on the air talking about how horrible this whole thing is, crapping their pants. They don't want their voices heard because now all of a sudden it's illegal, and nobody knew that it was illegal, except apparently it's not illegal. You saw the report on the news, and they were talking to the guy from BSO. BSO must be very bored lately. I must explain that ticket that I got yesterday. Thank you very much. The guy was very nice. He got me in and out very quickly. He gave me my ticket really fast. He must have noticed that I was in a hurry, so he gave me the ticket really fast. No muss, no fuss. I'll be calling the ticket defense team right after the show. Ignore those. These people were on hold waiting to talk to Neil, right?
All but line 4.
All but line 4? Oh, I just hung up on them. Are you still there on line 4?
Hey, George, how are you?
Hey, hold on. So I'll talk to that person. Everybody else, they wanted to talk to Neil about God knows what. I wanted to reset, especially that guy from Naples. I'm sure he was a crank. So all these people calling off the air, the owner doesn't want his name on the air. They don't want the name of the place on the air while they're talking to the lawyers. Oh, I distracted myself. The cop that they were talking to on the news was saying, and I'm quoting this, well, there's a statute on the books that says that it's against the law for people to have sex in front of other people. That's what he said. I'm quoting almost exactly. I'm pretty sure I don't know who this bozo was. Have you ever heard of such a thing in your life? Now, they do have the sodomy laws that are still on the books, so I'm thinking maybe it's one of those old archaic things, but I can't imagine these old colonist types, these old codgers actually sitting down there and writing, sodomy, that's a word, it's in the Bible, we all know it, blah, 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 sodomy, all right, we'll just make that against the law. But to actually write a law that says you can't have sex in front of other people. And this, of course, is private property, and for those of you people who've never visited, they charge you to get in. They charge you, not me, when you're, big radio star or associated with one. They want you in there so you'll talk about them on the air, which I was going to do, but they don't want their name mentioned. They not only do they charge you yearly dues, but they charge you like $75 a month. At least that's what they said on the news for this one place in particular. $75 to get in that night for the couple. So it's not schleppers going in there. They have nice cars, valet parking, the place that we went to. And the last time we went, we were guests of Fat Al Goldstein. And of course, being fun-loving, adventurous people and interesting things happen there. You would have loved it. We're going to get a station group to go to this place in question that I can't talk about, but the hat.
No, I don't want to go with
the souvenir hat is hanging on the wall. No, the nice people, the cool people. We'll get some cool people going because when the other
men's locker room upstairs.
You don't get what I'm talking about. They're not all men upstairs or downstairs, for that matter. Nevertheless, groups of station people would go there from the other place, the wonderful aisle, and the producers. We had a producer that was ugly as sin, and he accomplished something there. He was just sitting in the hot tub minding his own business, and he encountered a suckerfish or a catfish. Well, I don't know what you want to call it. He was just sitting there minding his own business, and he got bit under the water or something like that. That was the story. And this guy's butt ugly. This guy was butt ugly, no longer employed there or anything like that. So, and by the way, for the swingers out there that are thinking, oh, these guys are coming without dates, I always brought a woman or more than one with me. We had a great group that went to the place the one time, and all we did was dance. We danced, we drank, and we even had management there, and no one I want to name. So it was a great time. These were fun, nice people. Nobody's touching you. Nobody's making you feel uncomfortable. Nobody's coming up and putting their hands on you. Nothing like that. We were just all drinking, dancing, having a good time, and occasionally, a couple or a group would take off out of the dance floor room and go off into the other back room, and that's it. Big deal. Big deal. And now all of a sudden it's against the law, and all these people are crapping their pants. The people are coming out of the club covering their faces up. People don't want to come on the air. The owner doesn't even want the name of his place mentioned. They're pulling all the advertisement because apparently they're very miserable people out there. That's the only thing that I can come up with that can explain it. And miserable people enjoy making other people miserable. Instead of trying to find something fun to do in their life, have you ever noticed how happy people, they really don't F with anybody at all? Have I got this thing loaded up? I keep forgetting. Nice people, fun people, people who are having fun times in their life, people who are happy don't with people, generally speaking. It's the unhappy people, the people that can't seem to accomplish becoming happy in their lives, that have to find a way to with other people and ruin other people's good time. So I don't know where this whole thing got started, except to say that BSO must be really, really bored lately. I didn't know that they did speed traps. I thought that was the highway patrol and the city cop. And that's what I ran into yesterday, was a speed trap. Boca, hello.
Yeah, George, you're a douchebag.
Yeah, thank you very much. No New Yorkers today, by the way. That guy wasn't, but I knew that was going to be a crank.
That's the rule.
Yeah.
No,
I might do the no Julios thing also. After the first, faggot Julio calls up, I might do that also. But I'm just having a problem lately with people who can't say their R's.
Keep me up to date.
Call it a prejudice thing. Yet today, if you can't say your R's, if you talk like Barbara Walters, you can't go on the air. Sorry, I put you on hold earlier.
Hey, how are you?
All right.
Listen, I was stationed in the Army in other countries.
Right.
And other countries, they live a very freestyle lifestyle, but their crime
Yeah, we're freer than like Saudi Arabia. We have more freedoms than Iraq.
I personally was stationed in Korea, okay?
Uh-huh.
And when you go off post to Korea, when you were off post and you were in Seoul and other, in the other little cities, we used to go in these little bars, and they never bothered you. Nobody bothered you. But if you met someone and you wanted to go to a back room with a bunch of people, then you know something, you could just go. And you didn't have to worry about FBI's coming and raiding you or anything to that nature. I mean, if you're stupid enough not to have safe sex or safe however you were doing or what you were doing, then it's your business.
Right.
But in this country, you have to even watch what bar you go to because you don't know where you're going to get raided.
Oh, yeah, I can only imagine. One time by accident we went to a lesbian bar. We didn't know. We were just driving around some friends and, wanted to stop and get a drink, and here was this place, looked nice on the outside, walked in there. It's dark, your eyes don't adjust to the light right away. You just got your first drink and you wonder, why are all these women giving me dirty looks?
But my point is, this is the thing I'm worried about is, why are we worried about what cruise ship goes out and how much money people are gambling? Why are we worried about what bars people are going to? Why don't we worry about people that are getting stabbed on the street on South Beach just having dinner? Why don't we worry about things like that and worried about if you're going 70 and 65 and speed trap people?
Right.
It's just the problem is the government, and especially this city and county, all they're worried about is how much money they can generate through tickets. And I'm so tired of it. You can't even go out your street corner with a cop not waiting for you to speed.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I speed all around the place, but something, maybe I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Germany on the Autobahn.
All right. Yes.
All right, bud.
Thank you, sir. That's all I can say is miserable people wanting to make other people miserable. Here's an idea. If you're miserable, why don't you do something to try to make yourself happy instead of trying to bring other people down to your miserable level? Why don't you go out and have some fun? Go to the beach, go to a movie, go see a show. Isn't this the entertainment capital of the world or something? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. 22 till 2 on QAM.
The uncut wonder boy of the airwaves, George. God.
Oh, Jesus, are you f***ing kidding me? Wonderful.
Squirt, squirt.
Oh!
15 till 2 on 560 WQAM. So I'd like to know what radio station was playing that, because I got it off of one of those hit CDs that they send to all the stations. A lot of hits on one CD, at least that's what they want to accomplish. So I can start listening to that radio station, but because I never heard that before. And Joe and I said the same thing. We could have done that. We could have thought of that, but we didn't. That's why we're schmuck producer boys. So nobody. Oh, if I don't get any calls, by the way, we have some mono. I'm featuring mono. We have mono today for the audience. Ever heard of these people? Mono? Oh, that's Fluffy Clouds. That's later. It's starting really slow. It's like Portishead. Do you like Portishead?
I don't know what Portishead is.
Oh, dude, you got to listen to more KPS for VUM. Portishead, Mysterians, Mysterons. It's like, I don't know. It's like 40-ish sounding electronic stuff. The best that I can do to describe it. We'll play more mono later if we don't get any calls talking about why are people so goddamn miserable. So the swinging thing, yeah, I'm a swinger wannabe. I liken myself to the guy, walking around the swimming pool, sticking his toe in, going, ooh, it's cold, but in the meantime, the pool's full of people splashing around, having a really, really good time, apparently. And you want to have that kind of fun too, but basically we're cowardly. The wife and I very cowardly. And also we've kind of let ourselves go over the years, but we're in training, got that home gym that Joe Castello was using when he was over at my house the other day. I like that home gym. You got to turn around here and talk to me. Ignore these people.
Great.
It's a great home gym. Took me hours to put it together, and we're using it.
It's no disco.
We're in training. It's no disco. I wanted a disco for the living room, but we have a home gym, and we're using it because we let ourselves go over the years, and I have no idea why we let ourselves go over the years, but nevertheless, we did put on a couple pounds and got soft. So we're in training. I'm getting my nerve up. See, right now we're just like every other couple in the world where we just, screw around and then lie. We want to take it to the next level because we don't have any of these kind of moral hang-ups that the church-going crowd has. So maybe some people have some tips about how to get the wife going a little bit faster, except to possibly give her more booze, which is the only thing I can come up with. Miami, hello.
Hey, how you doing, George?
All right.
Hey, speaking of speed traps, a couple of years ago, I was in a speed trap coming home. I lived down a long stretch, and a guy got me. He was a Metro Date officer. You're talking about BSO.
Mm-hmm.
And he pulls me over, and I'm sitting there getting a ticket, and I look at him, and I say, hey, you live down the street from me, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't say nothing. Turns out the guy lives down the street from us. And the thing is that everybody speeds down this long stretch of road. It's like a 1.5 mile road to get to where I live.
Right.
But the speed limit is like 30 miles an hour.
Yeah, that was my
yeah, so
my
5 o'clock, you're coming home, and you don't want to sit
That's
on
exactly what was going on yesterday. It was one of these shortcuts. It was a through street. Everybody flies, going 50 down this road, but it's 30.
This guy is our neighbor. I mean, he lives around us, and he's giving out tickets to his neighbors.
So you think it's a vendetta?
I don't know. I mean, I talk to guys I live around, and I'm like, what's up? And he's like, yeah, my sister got one, my father got one, and I'm flipping out about it. Also, not a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, I got in one in Broward, but the cop is pretty nice. It was a Pines officer.
Mm-hmm.
I told him I didn't have my license, and he goes,
they're very nice in the Pines when they give you tickets. Yes.
Well, he just gave me a ticket for no license. It was $5, and I got rid of it. Can I call somebody a douchebag, please?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. What happened to him? I was just a little bit itchy. I don't know why. By the way, thank you to the sub-center, Chuck and Nisi. I want to say hello to Nisi because she doesn't get talked about enough. At least that's what she keeps telling me. That Neil doesn't say enough nice things about her because she makes all of our food. She's the one that actually physically makes our food with the rubber gloves. Not to worry about it.
She's cute.
She's a cutie.
She's a cutie.
As a matter of fact, she's on my extramarital affair list.
Maybe Nisi could come with us.
Okay. Okay, we'll put her on the list. We'll invite her when we do this thing. When we do the week and a day show, when we whore the show properly, make a shopping list, okay? We're going to whore the show out because these people don't care. They don't know what's going on the air, and they don't care. I mean, and if you look at the log, and because you look at logs and you help grind these spots out, there's so many trades on this log, and we have no idea why. And we could go into it, which ones are trade, but there are things on here that we don't know why they're trade. You look at them, and you have no idea why
all of these things
are on the log and who is getting whatever it is that the station is getting for these things.
Trapeze is on there and post trade.
Yeah. Oh man, I wish. I had no idea that place was so nice on the inside. I don't want to spend all day talking about them. I wanted to talk about our friends with the hat. See the hat hanging up behind you? That's where we're going to go because they're very nice people to us there. But we can't mention their name. They're all scared to death. They're taking giant craps in their pants. Mobile in Miami. Hello.
Hi, George.
Hi.
Couple of things. First of all, that fellow that you're trying to think of, a BSO, his last name is Moore, and I want to say Walter is his first name, but he is the director of something I'd never heard of before, Strategic Investigation Division.
That's the guy that I saw on TV.
Yeah, with a mustache.
Doing double talk, talking
Yeah.
about a law that doesn't exist.
In their news release, they said that they were acting on a complaint.
Yeah, that's
Now,
very funny.
That's about a mile, not even a mile from my house.
Now here's a funny thing. That's hysterical because we had people calling off the air that didn't want to talk that said that these undercover cops came in plain clothes, looked around, made note of who was having sex, came back later with the SWAT team with the masks.
Yeah.
Talk about intimidation. How would you like to be naked doing something and here comes a guy with a ski mask, to bust your ass for having sex. So my understanding of the law is when people make complaints about these things, the cop in question can't be the person making the complaint.
Yeah, well, the circumstance, if it's complaints, that's in a little strip mall. There is a saloon that's British-owned, and a couple of little businesses in there. That parking lot that's open, when the place opens, I think at 8 o'clock at night, it's mobbed. But who's going to complain? The guys in the saloon? They don't care.
Right.
So I'm kind of curious about it, and there's no residential area around that.
You know what? They could build a place like this right next door to me. The one that we visited, they had the valet parking. All the cars were nice. It wasn't like, like there was prostitution. Think about how ridiculous it is. Prostitution going on outside or around this place.
Well, it's not prostitution.
I know, but whores would starve outside of a swing club. There's free sex going on inside. Why would you have prostitution outside of it?
Well, I also suspect that one of the reasons that the SWAT team had their faces covered was that, judging from those who were arrested, some of those folks might be patrons.
Well, there were a couple of police officers and other police.
There was a Fort Lauderdale cop, his wife,
Right.
who was an Oakland Park police
Right.
civilian employee, and a BSO corrections.
Minding their own business, having a good time.
Well, they only got 24, and this one, the other one that got popped earlier in the month, was 31 people, and they plan more.
Okay.
There you are.
Thank you, sir.
Adios.
Okay. 822-560 WQAM.